All right, let's do a cheers to the Sobeys and Safe Liquid Beer Release podcast.
Be right again.
I love you guys.
Careful, that cake's hot.
Check-in, come on, let's go. It's the AM Nasty Big Hello.
Hello! It's Matt Static, AM Radio.
It's the Cool Bed Red Hot Nielson Show. Let's go. Everybody tuning in, even my wife.
Mommy likes too.
And those Macromala intros are cutting like a knife. Hey, it's Mitch texting in, he's your dealer for life. Let's crack a 6 o'clock and lager with some sirloin bites.
Good Tuesday morning to you. Welcome to the Nielson Show with Lieutenant Eric, presented by South Fort Chevrolet. It is Mattawanek. It is Dave Jameson, once again in for Dusty and Eric, alongside YouTube Trev, live right here in the Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen studio. I noticed this yesterday. I was going to the wrong website for Popeyes yesterday. Remember, I had that deal?
Yes, I remember that.
I was reading the wrong deal. It's unboxing season. This holiday season, you could get 4 pieces signature chicken, 4-piece tenders, 4-piece regular sides, or 4 regular sides and 4 biscuits at your local Popeyes. I think it was the $5 thing.
Yes,
I was reading yesterday.
I recall.
Yeah, I was on the Popeyes website, not popeyeschicken.ca website accidentally. So I got
Trev,
that.
how often have we said, make sure it's the CA?
Every day. I mean, for as long as I can remember. That's all I know. And Maddie got it wrong.
Yeah,
we apologize to our friends at Popeyes.
100% we do.
Yes.
I did get the times of the restaurants opening, depending on the location, 10 or 10:30 yesterday. That was accurate.
Good. Well, we'll get there, Maddie.
But
we'll get there.
I'm learning. I'm learning this industry. I'm still
only been in it like how many years now? How many years have you been doing this, speaking for dollars?
I first got employed at 1260 September of 09.
Okay.
Nate, I was started January of 09. So, make of that what you will. I'm still figuring this out.
Yes.
Good thing I have an intern coming in next week. He could teach me a few things about this industry. We're still doing those intern things around here.
Good. You should. Let's give people a leg up in the industry.
Because I think I've told you this before. I was finally invited to go speak at Nate individually. I've never been invited back to go speak at Nate. And Pat Galenza, a few weeks in November, he invited me to speak to one of his classes.
Well, I'm pleased for that. For the listeners and viewers like you, that has been a source of irritation for our friend here for years. Every year that we worked together, you would bring up the fact that you were never, and you were sore, or as we could say, butt hurt. You were butt hurt that you had not been invited back to your alma mater to speak and share your wisdom around the industry that you love so much. But you finally went back.
I finally got the invite.
Did you do the commencement address?
I got the tap from the lefty in the bullpen type thing. No, I sat in there was, for those, well, people don't know, there's like this one room that's like the cave.
Yeah, this is
and
really
they were just sitting around the table.
Okay.
But it was interesting because it was like, I could see there was like dynamics for the students.
Always
there was like
are.
4 students, like, because it's a very long table for only like 12 students. And there was 4 on the left side. There was 1 person in the middle, and then the rest were on the right side. And there was this like, you could like, I don't know if clicks or something. So I'm excited to have my intern come in next week. Be like, what are the cliques of the class? Like, I want the T. Give me the T of your class.
Okay.
But
Well, good for you.
I finally, like, you and I took on, I don't know how many interns at 1260.
We were at Intern Factory. Look at all the people we've spawned, so to speak. Hernan Salas, who is here now. He did his internship with us.
Yes. On our show, Hernan did. Wyatt Ziegler, who's doing he got promoted higher with Whitecourt.
As he should. Quiet Wyatt.
Shane Clausen's doing news out in Saskatchewan.
Yeah. Freddie Vapes, Freddie Papernick.
I don't know what he's in the Nasty Chat every so often.
I'm sure he is.
And also Tyler Remchuk.
Yeah. Not bad.
He's doing some things apparently in town. He's kind of
a large deal.
Doing some stuff. He's all right.
And doesn't he mix it up with Tim Peel?
I got into it with Tim Peel too. You didn't know that?
What? No, I didn't know you got into it.
Tim Peel went after your Remchuk, so I went after Tim Peel.
Oh, you came over the boards. Tim would appreciate that.
You want to know something? It was one of those, I hadn't gotten into a Twitter spat in a while.
There was a time there, Matty. You were in a few.
It felt really good to, get back in the ring, like come out of retirement for one more.
Okay.
With Tim, because Yaremchuk and I went after Tim. Well, because Yaremchuk was mad. This goes back to, I forgot which ref it was, but he teed up Darnell Nurse for the 10 minutes or whatever it was. And Yaremchuk went after him. So Tim Peel went after Yaremchuk. Like, quote tweeted him all this stuff. So then I, along with other people, pointed out that Tim Peel has been accused of berating 17-year-old minor hockey refs. Wow. And then he came back at me with this polygraph test that he took. That he went and got a polygraph test done, Dave, to prove that his innocence. But as I read the polygraph test, my 2 favorite parts of it, one, never in there was a question asked of him where he answered, did he yell at these refs, these minor refs? And at the very bottom of the test, it says, no opinion should be formed based off these tests. And I pointed that out to Tim Peel, and he just never could understand it. So Yaremchuk was going at him one way, I was going at him another. Tim Peel was lost. He thinks he was this great. No comebacks from him, Scott. I had this one. My favorite tweet that I had about him was, I called him something, and he did like one of those "you are" type responses. And I'm like, you've been in the National Hockey League for how many years? You would have thought, with all the players you've dealt with, you would have gotten good at chirping or being able to give it back a little bit. Yeah. And so I told him, you failed at that too in your career. Not only did you fail as a referee, you failed at that part. So congratulations on wasting an entire NHL refereeing career. Enjoyed that.
That was the dismount for you? Okay, let's get to the show now that we've made amends.
That was fun. I'm not making any amends. Tim Peel was just a joke.
All right.
It was just an awful joke.
Let's get underway here.
On the show today, YouTube Trevor, Tube, as Dave called him yesterday, that I'm trying to now stick as his nickname. Yes, on the show today, we've got Craig Button from TSN. He'll stop by from the World Juniors. He's calling some of those World Junior games, so big game today.
Yes, I've heard.
They say Canada and U.S. is kind of a rivalry.
I saw a quote from one of the players saying it's one of the greatest rivalries in sports.
I love when that gets thrown out there.
Which, okay, if you're 18 years old or whatever age this gentleman is, that's probably one of the few points of references he has for rivalries
in hockey. But like we sit there and say Oilers, Calgary, one of the greatest rivalries there is. Ravens, Steelers, one of the greatest rivalries there is. Packers, Bears, one of the greatest rivalries all time. Duke, North Carolina, could there be a bigger rivalry? Kentucky, Kansas in basketball, one of the best rivalries of all time. Yankees, Sox. How many greatest rivalries can we have of all time?
Well, it would seem like we're over the cap when it comes to rivalries. But yeah, anyhow, greatest rivalry in World Junior hockey. Okay. I'll get close.
Okay, well,
I'll give it to him.
Tube over there asked the question during the oil stream yesterday that I'll quickly throw to you. Who is Canada's biggest rival in hockey right now? Politics aside. If Russia was still there, who is Canada's biggest rival? Maybe there'll be the international team, independent athletes from
Now, are we
Russia
confining
next
this
year.
hockey broadly?
I'm talking hockey. In international hockey.
International
For
hockey.
Canada. Who's our biggest rival?
I think it's the Americans. For those of us of an age when, and certainly our point of reference is the 72 Canada-Russia. It's got great historical precedence, that rivalry, those two countries. No, I think now in modern terms, it's the Americans, and rightly so.
I agreed with that one. We'll talk to Craig Button as Canada taking on the U.S. later tonight. That gets going 5:30. It's on CTV too. I don't recall them showing a lot of World Junior games on CTV in the past.
I don't know that they have. Have they in previously?
I don't recall it at all.
I mean, if the CFL can be on CTV, why not for the World Juniors?
I'm just like, that would have just made sense over the past. I know TSN always got great numbers for the World Juniors, and you kind of want to just keep that for that channel. But to go to CTV, I'm saying that's...
There are many who believe that TSN helped build the World Juniors into what it is.
At 100% did.
Yes.
It's the one thing I will say, like TSN has actually, there was a few things you could point to. They built it. They built the World Juniors. The World Juniors became this beast largely because of TSN's investment.
Well, and you could argue that with the Canadian Football League too. And
but
there
Paul
are those
Graham
who criticize. Oh, yes. Who's retiring, by the way. Yeah.
Is it retired or retiring? This would be his last World Juniors then, I think.
Yes.
Okay.
And that was his last Grey Cup, the one just passed.
Because they did a nice little thing for him on the broadcast.
Indeed, as they should. One of.
But I will say of Sportsnet, like, there's not a lot Sportsnet has built. And that's where when I look at our two Canadian broadcasters, there's the one big difference I'll always have, is Sportsnet buys things. TSN has has built things.
I mean, obviously, the Canadian Football League and the World Juniors existed before TSN, but you're talking
elevated, put it to the next level.
Yes.
Where like the World Juniors in the 90s was something we watched, but it wasn't. We weren't filling NHL barns with it.
No. I still remember the Gretzky World Juniors, them with the blue maple leaf and playing at the Montreal Forum. And, you knew it was happening, but it didn't have any prominence or very little. But so, yeah, I'll grant you that.
And that's the one thing, like TSN has actually done a good job with a few things where they've maybe not built it, but they've elevated them to another level.
And they fired us. So, I mean, give them credit for that.
Well, they shut us down.
Oh, okay.
That's the thing is that they couldn't continue on. We were so great. They couldn't continue on the station.
We couldn't be contained?
We couldn't be couldn't be replaced.
Oh, well.
Everyone in this industry is replaceable.
Some might argue with that.
But 1260 was so good they couldn't even replace us. Yeah. Or they just couldn't replace the transmitter. That's what they say. Joaquin Gage will stop by in the 8 o'clock. We've got kind of easy trivia, which I will say it's supposed to be kind of easy trivia. I think it's easy trivia.
Is that why it's not why it's named kind of easy
I know,
trivia?
But it's our last show of 2024.
Oh, yes, it is.
It's a look back on 2024. That's the hint I'm going to go with. Be prepared to look back on 2024. This isn't
we're reflective today.
My entire kind of easy trivia is completely reflective.
Okay.
You have to have knowledge from all the way back to February, all the way through to November. That's all I will say. But I wrote it out actually last night, my kind of easy trivia.
Why February on?
You'll understand.
Oh, okay.
When I get to kind of easy trivia at 8 o'clock, Mr. Jameson over there.
Okay.
3 questions too many. We've got the orange and blue breakfast because not only is it game day for the Oilers and the Americans, it's game day for your Edmonton Oilers as they will take on the Utah Hockey Club. Just one of those all-time New Year's Eve matchups. We talk about rivalries between Canada and the U.S. When you have Edmonton take on the Utah Hockey Club on New Year's Eve, there's nothing like it. We have never seen anything like it before.
And I'd like to mention here, Utah's coming in angry, having lost 5-2 to the Kraken. And if I know anything about Dylan Gunther and company, they don't take losing easily.
I will also say we got the snow report from Armor Basin. I am disappointed in myself that Dusty had amazing music for it.
Yes, he did.
He left. We didn't have amazing music for it. I've now done, this is my 4th morning show, I believe it is. I think I did 2 with Will, now 2 with Dave. It took me till the after yesterday's show to realize I know what I should replace the music with for the ski report. Stay tuned.
I know we're going to get into it later in the show as I reach awkwardly for my bottle of water here. We had an awkward start to our day. I don't want to give it away.
Yeah, that's...
I know it's coming later.
Weekly confessions in the 9 o'clock.
Yes.
A very
Let's
awkward
just
start
say
to
that
this day.
it was not a smooth beginning to the Nielson Show featuring Lieutenant Eric with guest hosts. It was not our best effort today.
It was very calming for a period of time for me, as I got to be reflective for a number of minutes. We will get to that. Let's get to morning announcements for 100.3 The Bear. Check out Yuka McCord weekday mornings, Jess Jackson in the afternoons. If you want to rock out, there's only one place to rock out with. That's 100.3 The Bear. Rawr. I think it's 100.3 Rawr The Bear.
The Bear.
I think that's how it went.
Are they still Edmonton's best rock?
Of course they are.
Okay.
How do you give up that title?
Well, you don't. You just continue to earn it every day.
I think once Yuke McCord and Jess are no longer there, they might not have that title. And also Bree in the evenings and weekends.
Who's excellent as well.
Thursday Nighter. Did you watch much of it?
Yes, I watched the lion's share of it. See what I did there?
I did. Well done. Dan Campbell losing his voice at halftime already. It's nice that the Detroit Lions didn't do what some people thought they might, which is, because the game didn't mean anything for the Lions. Weirdly enough, this is one of those weird spots where this game didn't mean anything because next weekend means everything.
Yes.
You don't see that often.
No.
They could have lost yesterday. Doesn't impact their chance of first overall in the NFC / the division because they have tiebreakers over the Minnesota Vikings. So that game didn't mean anything. People were, would they rest people? Would starters not go? Right till the end, they played. And I'll give credit to the Detroit Lions for going all out there and wanting to be on, to me, looks like be on the right foot as they go take on the Vikings next weekend for the big game.
You and I were on the air when Dan Campbell was hired as the interim coach in Miami.
Yes.
Right? And we knew a little bit about him, but the fully formed Dan Campbell you see today as a head coach is, God,
you can take that out until 7 o'clock.
You know what? I'm done until 7 with these earbuds. I don't know if there's a better marriage of head coach, team, and city than Dan Campbell and the Detroit Lions. You know where I'm going with that in terms of embodying, and because it's been such a downtrodden franchise for so many years. But how he, through strength of personality and skill, obviously, and they've Jared Goff and everybody else that they've got there. So they've done an exemplary job of building a team, but having him at this very moment in their history, it's just like, I didn't think I'd live long enough to see the Detroit Lions not only credible, but really credible, a viable Super Bowl candidate.
What makes it more perfect that he's a Detroit Lions head coach is that he's also very much risk averse, not afraid to go out there and go for that 4th down play.
And by that, you mean he's not going to hang on to 5 timeouts?
He's not going to do that, but it's also going to be one of the reasons that all Detroit Lions fans know is going to cost them. And the Detroit Lions are going to have some pain and suffering because at some point Dan Campbell's going to make some sort of error in their eyes.
If I'm a fan, I want that out of my head coach. I want that sort of mentality.
I can speak as a Baltimore Ravens coach because John Harbaugh...
Or as a fan, I know you want to be the coach. You think you are the coach.
A fan of the Ravens, Coach John Harbaugh. He's a guy that in the past has taken risks. He has gone for 2-point conversions at the end of a game to try to win it. That has cost them games outright.
Okay.
It sucks in the moment. I will say that. Like, I sit there and I go, why are you doing it? The Kansas City Chiefs game, first game this season, when Isaiah Likely had what we thought was a touchdown to tie that game, immediately John Harbaugh was putting out his unit for a 2-point conversion to go win that game, not go to overtime. And I text buddy Warren Barris who's also a Ravens fan.
Yes.
And I went, no. Like, I would prefer to go to overtime. I don't want to come down to this one play. Now, obviously, it didn't matter because likely his toe was out of bounds. But I don't know. When it comes to it's situations, I'm okay with a 4th down gamble. I'm not as okay with a 2-point conversion. I don't know why.
That runs counter to everything I know about you.
How so?
Well, I know you project this, very thoughtful, methodical. You're like Ross Atkins, not as incompetent.
Ross Atkins in.
And but I don't know, that doesn't land right for me. I like what Dan Campbell, how he approaches not only the way he, and I know we made fun of him, from those early Dolphin years.
Well, because he immediately implemented the Oklahoma drill. And for those that don't know, that was an outdated drill that just you put 2 guys in a circle and they just go head first, collision. And that was like at the peak of talking about concussions.
Yeah. It wasn't, but it was, sure, in the moment, in the time, it seemed laughable, and it was. But to see what he has done and how he has evolved as a coach, and yet not losing that all-in kind of mentality. If I'm a fan, and I'm not necessarily of the Detroit Lions, I respect what they've done and what they're doing. I would want that out of my coach.
Oh, absolutely. It's just like based on history, somehow the Lions and the Bills are going to screw this up. That's their DNA. And it's just going to be crushing for both fan bases.
Well, I approach life differently than you. I think that there comes
you go
moment.
more positive. I go for the negative.
Well, maybe that's my age.
It should be like
I haven't become poisoned like you have with all the data.
Well, the data does say that on more teams should go for 2-point conversions. It should be something that is done a lot more. And also statistically, let's say you need a 2-point conversion, you're down 15 points.
Okay.
They say statistically you should go for the 2-point conversion on the first attempt. Not wait for a lot of teams will get the touchdown, kick the extra point. If they get the ball back, score a touchdown, and try for the 2-point, then they say statistically you need to go
for
first.
it on the first. Well,
or I don't know if 15 would work there. If let's say whatever the math would be for it. Because if you miss it statistically, getting 1 2-point conversion out of 2 tries, the odds say you will get 1. If you go for it twice, the odds are you're going to get it once. So you go for the first time. If you don't get it, you should get it the second time. If you go only for it once and you don't get it, there is no second time. That's where the stats actually go with that, and not a lot of coaches do that. Learned something today about the analytics of National Football League. Analytics is taking over.
Trev is silenced over there. He's like, wow, that is deep thought. I don't get that around here very often.
I don't even know what to say.
Yes. Even rendered voiceless over there.
Just stunned.
Yes.
I am stunned.
Of that brilliance that the NFL has to throw out there. This is the Nielsen Show, presented by South Fort Chevrolet. They've got upgrade your sleigh 2025 Silverado custom with payments as low as only $199 bi-weekly. See dealer for details. Check it all out on their website, southfortchev.com. That's on the liner I was given by Dusty. So that website is accurate. I'm mentioning the correct website there. I'm not going to the American South Fort Chevrolet website. southfortchev.com. I'm learning these things, Dave. This internet thing, it's wild. There's websites from all over the world, apparently.
How about just read what's in front of you today? Let's just go with what we know to be the truth.
Yeah. Well, but sometimes you don't always want to just read exactly what's in front of you, because then you get into an Alan Mitchell low tide situation sometimes.
Yes.
And I'm not calling out. Tide will call himself out on these things. I still remember once I used to have we had a board in the 1260 studio where we'd write what's coming up on our station. And mistakenly it was put up there that there was an Oil Kings game and a Thursday
I probably put it up there.
And there was a Thursday night football game, but they were at the exact same time. So naturally we could only play one. And I remember driving in and heard Ty go, "What do we have on tonight?" So we got the Oil Kings 7:00 taking on Brandon Wheat Kings, and we got Thursday night football at 6:30. And I walked into the studio at a commercial break and Al, how can we do both of those? And he's like, they were on the board. I read what's on the board. Mr. Allen Mitchell.
I think our listeners know by now we're not the brightest people behind these microphones, and we will read and say pretty much whatever you put in front of us.
Largely.
Yeah.
Largely. Atif has a funny poem about the EST Morning Show with Matt Owanek, and he spelt my name wrong, and Dave Jameson.
Okay. Do you want
Let's
to
read
share it,
this.
or do you want to?
Well, we'll read this. I'll read this.
Just read Atif's words. Don't imagine things
absolutely.
that aren't there.
What I will do is I will read it. Then we'll get to a sports update.
Okay.
And then we come back. We'll get into the fan zone. We'll talk some Edmonton Elks, actually. Because if I have you here, I need to talk some Edmonton Elks. This from Atif. 780-218-9999. It is the Paris Jewelers inbox. This might start off as the contender for text of the day. Just throwing that out there. We'll see how this goes. I have not read this text just yet. The alarm clock screams. A dreadful sound. But wait, a beacon. Joy is found. The EST Morning Show, a glorious sight. With Matt and Dave, a comedic light. Matt, the master of the awkward pause. Dave, the king of off-color laws. Their banter flows a witty stream of inside jokes and off-key dream. They'll dissect news with dubious glee and mock the weather with such ferocity. Contests abound with prizes so strange, a lifetime supply of expired orange. Listeners call in with tales untold of pets misbehaving, stories bold. Matt and Dave, they'll twist and turn each anecdote their laughter to earn. So raise your mug of coffee or tea and tune in daily just for you and me. It comes from Atif. I'm just going to say this right now.
Why isn't Atif doing this instead of us? Because he has more skill with the language than all of us combined.
I feel like that's Chat GPT.
Okay, I'm happy you called it out because I was gonna say the same thing, Maddie.
I don't believe in that stuff. I think
I'm
that's all
sorry.
from the human mind.
I'm just looking at the text right now.
Text check detector.
There's commas. Atif has never used commas ever before. Not once.
You know who
I'm
really
sorry,
like
Atif.
commas? Eric Tillman.
Oh yeah, big. He likes some commas.
Oh
eh?
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I found a thing.
Put the comma shaker all over the copy.
I have
just dropping them in.
I have AI challenged this. I've put it into C. We are highly confident this text was AI generated. 100% probability AI generated. 0% human, 0% mix, 100% AI generated.
Atif, I don't believe that for a moment, and I'm with you.
So that's not text of the day, though.
That drops out of contender for text of the day.
Not
but we
for me.
appreciate the attempt there, Atif. When we come back, we will get into the fan zone. But coming up, we will get to a sports update with YouTube Trev, Matt Owanek, Dave Jameson with you here on the Nielsen Show with Lieutenant Eric, presented by Southport Chevrolet. Here is Trev.
Yesterday in the NHL, just 3 games, which saw the Panthers defeat the Rangers 5-3, the Jets shut out the Predators 3-0, and the Seattle Kraken 5-2 over the Utah Hockey Club. The Oilers are back in action for their final game of the year tonight. Edmonton looks to get back in the win column tonight against the Utah Hockey Club. You can join Tom Gazzola for the GCL Diesel pre- and post-game shows. Coverage starts at 6 right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. 12 other games in the NHL tonight, including an all-Canadian matchup between the Flames and Canucks. The Canadians take on the Golden Knights, and the Maple Leafs host the Islanders. To the World Juniors we go. Yesterday, just 2 games, both going to overtime, which saw Slovakia edge out Kazakhstan 5-4, and Latvia beating the Germans 4-3. Tonight in the Juniors, Team Canada takes on longtime rival Team USA. Puck drop for this one goes at 5:30. 3 other games in the Juniors today. Czechia will take on Sweden. Finland will go up against Latvia, and Switzerland plays Kazakhstan. 6 games in the association tonight, including the Raptors going up against the Celtics. Toronto will look to snap their 10-game losing streak. Tip-off for this one goes at 1 o'clock, and to finish things off, Week 17 caps off seeing the Lions get past the 49ers by the score of 40-34. This sports update is brought to you by Nisku Glass. We want to thank EST and all the listeners and viewers, and what better way than to give them a deal? Mention Edmonton Sports Talk or present your Nasty Club membership for a 10% discount on windshields, glass, or any of your window and door orders. Call us today to get that ugly broken windshield replaced or to start planning your winter and spring renovation projects now.
The Nielson Show featuring Lieutenant Eric. Only on Edmonton Sports Talk.
It's the Nielson Show with Lieutenant Eric. Dusty back on Monday, January 6th. Lieutenant Eric back on Thursday, January 2nd. He will be joined alongside Dave Jamieson. I am Matt Awanek, YouTube Trev, the Tube with you here on Edmonton Sports Talk, live on TuneIn, iHeartRadio, EdmontonSportsTalk.com, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcasts. It is an Oiler game day. Oilers taking on the Utah Hockey Club, 7 o'clock down at Rogers Place. Nothing says scream in the new year like going to watch a hockey game and then going downtown somewhere, maybe Kelly's, somewhere else. 6 o'clock, GCLT's Oil Stream. Pre-game show, Tommy, Hernan, I think Gas, they'll get you set for the Oilers and the Utah Hockey Club later today.
Second time
right
they've
here.
met, correct?
Second ever. Ever. Utah is a brand new franchise in the record books.
That's
doesn't
right.
have
They don't carry the history, correct?
Because there was the ability for Alex Morello to relaunch.
It won't be Alex Morello.
He handed in the keys already.
Yeah.
So the Coyotes franchise is now defunct, if you will, or just put on the shelf. And the Utah Hockey Club was basically...
Did the Jets get those records back? Do we ever get resolution on that?
I don't think they have it at the moment. All those Jets records from the original Jets.
Yes.
Dale Howard-Chuck Jets.
Morris Lukowich.
Those are sitting somewhere else. Those are sitting on the shelf. And I think this is where, like, Winnipeg should be able to go and be like, could we grab those records, somehow add it? Like, I don't know how you would go about doing that. But no, right now, the original Winnipeg Jets, there is no continuation because it went to the Coyotes and then the Coyotes continue on. The Thrashers' history is with the current Winnipeg Jets.
Okay,
right?
yeah, that part I will understand.
They move on.
Yeah.
So the other Winnipeg Jets history is with the Coyotes, but the Coyotes never moved to Utah, and it's such a unique situation. It hasn't happened much in sports. I think the Ravens might be one of the only other few times it's happened where a team has relocated, like the players relocated, but it was an expansion team, and then they have to go through the expansion draft or the expansion process. Utah is considered an expansion team largely, but they were able to take all the Coyote players.
Yeah,
and the history just stays behind. The Cleveland Browns history was left in Cleveland.
Which, by the way, if
Baltimore got a new franchise.
If I believe the internet, and I often don't, there's something going on with the city of Cleveland and the Browns over the stadium. The mayor wrote a letter. I read it this morning, but
the only thing I saw with the tweet was, and again, just trust all that stuff very quickly. Sure. Don't dive deep into it. Just surface level. You know everything.
Which is perfect for us.
They're trying to. The mayor and the city want to push out Jim Haslam as their owner.
I'm on the city side. I'm on the city side on this one.
Well, I've never seen that push before of like, we're going to try to get you out as the owner, which I don't know what power you'd have for that. Like, you can't sit there as Cleveland and be like, we're not going to build you a stadium because, well, the way we know how American sports and Canadian sports works, they'll say, I'll move this team to somewhere that will. So I don't know the type of threat you have. Although the only threat might be maybe other cities go, you're the Cleveland Browns. We're not building you a stadium. We're not bringing your trash here.
For trash. You know people would be lining up if they relocated again. And they're not moving.
No. I don't expect them to have to change ownership.
They're a civic jewel, Matty. You can't lose that. They're essential to the fabric of the city.
How could a sports or a city exist without a sports franchise?
Can't imagine it.
Let's get to the fan zone for fans first. 4 fans. Well, by fans, 4 fans, no fees. Get your tickets for Oilers right now. Fansfirst.cc. I can't read off this sheet. And
Well,
you
can I
told
do
me
one?
Well, you want? Okay, I'll let you do one after, but
Okay.
I will tell you why.
I'll do a tag.
Because I have to go online here. Because this is an update. Read that. Read the fans first at the top. Reread it in full. Do not change it.
Okay.
This is the issue sometimes.
The Fan Zone is brought to you by Fans First. By fans, for fans, no fees. Get your tickets for the Oilers Cup run at fansfirst.ca.
There's no cup run right now. See, that was from the spring. On my digital copy here, it is all season long. It's not corrected.
Well, aren't the Oilers always in a cup run? Can we just start with that? Because that's the way I approach it. They're always in the hunt for the Stanley Cup. Okay. Just a tip here, guys, and I know I'm the old person at the table. Can you, when you're using, in this case, www.fansfirst.ca, could you maybe not put it in sort of a salmon pink so it actually jumps off the page? That's where we're having trouble there. Okay. All right.
I think that's Dusty.
Oh, yes. No, it is.
I'll let him know.
Sure. Okay.
We
Fans
haven't.
First.
So yesterday, somebody commented on. It was nice to have you on from retirement, Dave. There is no retirement for you, though. Although your contract with your current employer, that will be former employer, ends today. Like
Holding a job is the problem, Matty. But yes, thank you for that.
Let's talk some Edmonton Elks here a
Okay.
little bit, because you have spent a considerable part of 2024 with that club.
I have.
They've gone through all sorts of changes throughout this year. I think there's a lot of good vibes and good energy about this franchise going into next year that we haven't seen in a very long time. But just your thoughts
My
and
assessment of where it
the
sits?
franchise right now.
Well, I'm very bullish on what the Thompson Group has done to this point. I mean, you got to think like that's it. Their purchase of the team officially announced in early August, correct? I think it was on August 8th. Anyway, it
Something
matters not.
early August, I believe. If not, it was late July.
Okay.
It was in that time.
Ends 75 and a half years of community ownership. So that's a seismic change in how the business is run. But I think what they've done in my assessment of this is now you have real, authentic leadership, not people masquerading as sports. And this doesn't apply to the football side of the operation. I'm talking about from the president's suite. And Rick Lawlisher came in and righted the ship because it was as bad as you knew it to be on the field. I would suggest that the off-field business operations were as chaotic as the football was incompetent. And Rick shepherded the sale process and brought a professionalism to the organization that I think it was sadly lacking. The season, there were some good moments, and you saw what happened with Trey Ford that I think he really, put a stake in the ground saying he could play and should be given the opportunity, earn the opportunity, and they're going to move forward with him as their starting quarterback. And then when you saw the Chris Morris hire, and he's a new raw executive for sure, but given his background, both as a very, very good player, an important part of the Eskimos' offensive line for so many years, but as a leader, an educator, what he did at the Golden Bears, to me, again, 5.5 months in the role I most recently held as the interim director of tickets and service. I mean, it was close, not on the football side, but obviously to the business operations. And then the hiring of Ed Hervey. And when both of those, both the Chris Morris and Ed Hervey moves were made, I went, okay, we got real football people in charge now. No more playing games. We're going to make decisions based on, for the right reasons. Mark Killam, inspired choice, a guy who's put in the time, has been a highly respected assistant in a good organization. Calgary Stampeders, I know that they're not currently where they've been for a long time, but that, outside of
the longest time.
Longest time.
Well, but they had a longer run as a top team than the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
Fair.
Winnipeg have gotten to 5 straight Grey Cups,
done a
and
brilliant
Calgary
job
didn't know how
there.
to do that.
No.
But you look at Calgary's time, especially like around bow time, like you look at the 2010s, just how good the Stamps were. They did it for a decade.
So they have a lot of work to do, the Elks, and they have the right team in place to do that work now. And it's a rebuilding of the trust with the fan base. And I think some of the things that I was part of, or at least got to witness firsthand, is that the right people are now in place to do the right things to rebuild the brand. And I hate using that term. It is a football team. It's an entertainment option for people. And I think the fans of Edmonton, both the longtime season seat holders and people who may, sort of casually sample what the Elks offer up, they want winning. They want to invest in, with their time and their money, in an organization that is committed to doing things the right way. And I believe that that's what they've got in place now.
And to me, this is one of the reasons I fight and defended Trey Ford for over a year now. Didn't like the move away from him to start this season. Was the fans are excited about Trey, and fans want to come see Trey Ford play because he's exciting. And I'll be very fascinated to partly see what the attendance will be like early in the season. Is like I want the CFL schedule because
which should have been out weeks ago, by the way, and that's a fail on the CFL's part.
Yeah.
People want to know when you're doing business, when you only open your store 10 times.
Well, it's part of that is they've done it. They've done it for a number of years in December.
Yes,
and then for some reason this year they couldn't get it out. It's kind of the Randy Ambrosie CFL era is coming to that limping finish.
Yes. And to go back to, and again, in the role I had, I talked to a lot of fans, season seat holders, and
because you became in charge of.
Interim director of tickets and service. So that is street level interaction with the people who paid the bills, and had lots of good conversations, some very passionate conversations. Bless you, Trev. And they
get that reacting in you.
I will say we held an event, a meet and greet with Trey Ford over the holiday season, or at least just before they closed for the holidays. And there were almost 200 people that showed up on a cold night with very short notice. I think we sold about, and I say we here, I get to say that until the end of the day today. They sold like 50 Trey Ford jerseys. People couldn't wait to meet him. Huge lineup to meet Chris Morris and Ed Hervey and Mark Killam and Todd. I mean, there is genuine love. It hasn't evaporated. It hasn't gone away. It just needs to be reignited. And I think they've got the right team to do it.
Well, you and I had a lot of the Elks conversations at the time, Eskimos, over the years at the old place, where we got into talking about what was wrong with the franchise and things. And people always engaged. People always gave us their thoughts on the franchise. And there was never apathy.
We always
the passion was there. The passion's always been there. Whenever we got into discussions, people would come in and they would get involved in the discussion. It's just also like I'm going to take everything out business-wise. All of that out. You look at just the football part of things. Mm-hmm. They won the Grey Cup in 2005.
Yes.
The next year, 2006, they missed the playoffs for the first time in 35 years.
Correct.
From 2006 to 2024, which is this year, so that's 18 seasons. They've had 3 home playoff dates. 2 of them being back-to-back, 14-15. That's not good enough.
No, not in this town. And not in a 9-team league.
And the amount of times this franchise missed the playoffs in that time, like it is almost 2 decades of garbage that this franchise has put out there on the football field. I don't care about anything else. And that just wears. That's going to get people to stop coming. 14 and 15 were a blip on the radar.
Well, and
they were outliers.
And that's, people will say, well, where did it all start to go wrong? And it's never one thing. It's a convergence of things. And what's happened to that team, if not that league, but let's focus on Edmonton, was a perfect storm of much of it self-inflicted, but you think the name change and how that was handled. And you may want to debate it right now, but let's just set it aside. Okay, so they go through that process. You have the pandemic, and then you have decisions made through the pandemic to, keep the business going. I don't want to bore people with some of the minutia, but the stuff that I'm aware of now, and decisions made at the board level that have, really kind of knocked the legs out from underneath a franchise that was financially very stable, very robust, to a place now where, they're in a not very good place. And that's why and thank God for Larry and Deb Thompson for coming in. Because without them and the investment, both their financial investment and their energy and passion for it, I don't know there weren't many options.
Good options.
Good options, yeah.
Because there was 20 that wanted to buy it.
Well, yeah, and then there were a lot of tire kickers. Okay, it sounds good. The concept, hey, I'd like to own a football team. Well, once you dig into it, really, what do you have if you don't own a stadium?
Yeah, just have crypto. Use crypto, right?
Yes,
buy things with
course.
crypto.
All good things from crypto.
It's.
But it's been a great experience, and I got to tell you, going back to a place where I spent 14 years, and I have a great deal of passion and love for both that team and the league, and I've got lots of friends who are still there, and so it's been a really good experience. And so I feel like I got an executive MBA because I didn't work previously in that area of the business, and so to go in and learn about ticketing and understanding the importance of service and meeting fans on a different level and in a different way than I did before, and hearing their concerns and their anger. I'll take anger. I'll take anger if not outrage over apathy, because once you hit the apathy part of the relationship, it's over. But talking to people who are, still upset about coaching decisions or prices or whatever, I'll do that all day because I know they still care.
Well,
and you still have a chance to keep them as a fan.
I just want to see this team start winning. Because if this team could start winning, people will come back. We saw it through August and September. Again, once the Elks got on their big winning streak and stuff, people were coming. Labor Day was fantastic. The rematch, the tailgate is becoming a nice little vibe, and I do highly recommend to people that at least once next summer, if you haven't been in a few years, go do the tailgate. Go spend a couple of hours, walk around the tailgate. Go see Jerry and the Spirit of Edmonton. Hopefully we'll be back there. Go check out our boys live there. There's a lot of, Jason and Andrea who are nasties. They have their spot there. You got Turf District. You got Elks Herd. There's a lot of great spots to go check. Dave in section T, is it? Sorry, Dave. I don't know what section he's. I forgot the section there. But there's a lot of great, and then go to watch the game, and hopefully Trey's winning football games, and it's going to be enjoyable to go watch.
Yes, it's what they've done out there. Just you brought it up, and I'm glad you did, about tailgating and the things that they've done around the stadium. It is, before, at least when I was there previously, we just opened the doors and turned on the lights and played football. Sure, you could buy some food or whatever, but it was just about football. Well, the consumer demands and tastes have changed over the years, and now so they want a fuller experience that starts outside the stadium, and the tailgating is the biggest change they've made to the game day environment and atmosphere at Elks games. And it's a critical part of the experience. But yes, try winning some football games. That's going to help a hell of a lot.
Kevin Klaus in the nasty chat.
Yes.
Do you see the Elks opening the Upper Bowl or building a new stadium?
I don't see Upper Bowl now. I'm really not authorized to speak on this, but this is just my gut. Until you have built up demand that is so intense that you must, you just can't deny the fact that you need the extra inventory. And if they were going to go that route, I think the only you would start with between the 30s upper deck east side. So that's the side of the stadium that the camera shows.
And you get the sun.
And you get the sun, yes. That's how I would approach it, but I would resist the desire to open it up now.
Well,
Rebuild the fan base and the season ticket base so you have legitimate pressure on your inventory, because there isn't right now.
The two things about that, so there was I remember there was ask about prior to Labor Day rematch, would they open up the Upper Bowl, because they ended up selling out. Well, you guys ended up selling out the lower bowl, and I know Evan Daum went somewhere And he made the comment that it was just too soon to get the staffing and all of that, the logistics behind you can't just open up like, we're going to open it up and then all of a sudden open it up. It's not just take off the rope and then people go up.
And people run.
So the tickets have to be sold weeks in advance
and
for them
working
to have
with the city to bring on additional security, additional staffing, that has implications. It's not just simply go and open it. But again, I come back to, if you don't have consistent pressure on your inventory.
Well, that's where when this was first announced, I said it then and I stand by it. I think the first few opportunities the Elks have to open it up, I wouldn't. I would make it you missed out on your tickets, get your tickets sooner. And if there's an entire season where you could have opened up 2 or 3 times, I would love if the Elks didn't. And the next season started opening up maybe a little bit more if that demand continues there. Because as you said, you need to just build that continual pressure and you need to make it of a hot ticket to buy. Forever, you could always get a ticket to an Elks game, basically.
Here's the brutal truth about the Canadian Football League. It's probably a 25,000-seat stadium league.
Nowadays,
okay? Set aside history in the past and, you went and there was 45,000. Those days, I'm not suggesting that they can't come back or might not come back, but I'm not optimistic that they will anytime soon. So, okay, acknowledge your reality and work within that to sell as many of those seats as possible. And I believe that that's what they are trying to do. So while you may want to go back to those days and get there immediately, it's a process. It is a build, and a rebuild in this case. When I was there, Matty, we had 25,000 season seat holders. And so you could legitimately and reliably say, okay, today, depending on the opponent, weather, that day of the week, we'll probably see 38,000 in here. You still had, in a 54,000-seat stadium, a lot of empty seats. But you could run a pretty successful business rolling off 25,000 season seat holders. And, the concessions of 38,000 in attendance, you're doing okay.
That was the Fan Zone for Fans First. I need to get to Fired Up, which is brought to you by Gemco Fireplaces, proudly serving Edmonton and area for 45 years, and the authorized dealer for Napoleon fireplaces, whether it's gas or wood burning. Look no further than the Canadian-made Napoleon fireplaces. All the Napoleon products you need are available at Gemco, 9281 50th Street. Imagine if we had a fireplace here in EST. Oh, that'd be wonderful.
Look, I'm only a guest, an interloper in this world. But you should have a fireplace.
You want to even one
right
just
here.
Right under our studio TV. Honestly, we
Popeyes,
always meant to
Louisiana.
mount this. If we mounted it up and got a nice little fireplace going there, that's where we could have hung our stockings for the Christmas. Look, 7:00's coming up in 5 minutes. We got to get to a YouTube Trev Sports Update. Craig Button will join us, so I don't have a long time. So I've left myself little time, so I can't rant the entire time on this. But I'm fired up about something in soccer. So let me get through
Here
this.
we go, Trev.
I am a Manchester United supporter. I love Manchester United. I've been a supporter for over 20 years. I'm fired up of how dire of a situation Manchester United is right now. It's United is one of the most iconic franchises in the world, and they are only 7 points clear of a relegation. They might get relegated this season if they don't turn things around. They are having I am talking about the idea of making sure Manchester United doesn't get relegated this year, not fight for a championship, not fight for top 4. I'm worried that they need to fight to not get relegated this season. They go out and make a managerial change this year. They move on from Eric Ten Hag a few weeks ago. They bring in a promising young manager in Ruben Amorim. Since his 11 games with Manchester United, he's got 4 wins, 1 draw, and 6 losses, including a 2-0 loss to Newcastle United. Here's where I have my biggest issue, though, with Manchester United right now, is Ruben Amorim coaches a specific style that does not suit the current players of Manchester United. They cannot play his style. Everyone knew this. So he said when Manchester United approached him, said, hey, because he was with Porto in Portugal, let me come after this season. Play out this season, go get an interim coach. I'll finish up my season here, and then they could have the summer to replace players and bring in players that suit his system so he can make that change. United's like, nope, absolutely not. Now or never. So he's like, well, I want this job. I will take it now. But what we are seeing is these players can't play in the damn system. So now they just keep losing games, and it's not the manager's fault. It's the fact that they don't have players to play in his system. And we have to wait till next summer to replace those players, and then he could, go about trying to put in his system. But he's playing his system, but he doesn't have the players for it. And this is all the United's fault because they're like, well, we can come right away. Why didn't you just let him wait? Why didn't you just go for an interim manager for the rest of the season? I'm fired up of how dire a situation Manchester United is in right now. The only other person that I know that's a nasty that really cares about this is Johnny Alberta, who's one of our nasties and has created the Manchester United supporters group, which I just don't want to go watch the United games because it's just so I don't want to watch any of their games because it's just utterly depressing. I'm just going to get frustrated. I'm just going to get angry. Yesterday, I don't even know how soon they gave up a goal. Manchester United was down 1-0 immediately. Let me see. It was 4 minutes in. They're down 1-0 already. Boom. And there's no they're going to come back. I'm fired up with Manchester United.
Does this segment allow for follow-up questions or comments coming off the rant, Trev?
Yes. I'll allow it.
Okay, I am not I am an interested bystander, an onlooker into the world of we call it football, Maddie, by the way, not soccer. And
yes,
I can't muster a lot of sympathy for an organization, a side, as we call it, like Manchester United. It'd be like, for me, feeling sorry for the Yankees.
But this would be a situation where the Yankees are...
Wait for it.
They haven't won in a long time, but the Yankees would be like getting ready to be demoted to AAA baseball.
Okay,
that's where United
with that.
And sure, maybe others. And that's and look, I actually look. The thing is, I don't want any sympathy for anyone else. I don't care about anyone's sympathy for this.
Should you?
I want them to get better. I want them to be better. It's been since 2013 since they won a title, or like the Premier League title. They won titles back-to-back years. They won the FA Cup last year. Won the Carabao Cup 2 years ago. But it's just one of those situations where like it's maybe this is one of those situations where things need to get just a little bit worse to get better because they've changed a bunch of behind the scenes people and they're trying to build a proper system behind the scenes. But it's just they're the players, Dolphin Nation in the Paris Jewel Gym Box. They need a culture change. Players don't look like donning that iconic red jersey, something to be proud of, and they don't right now. So it's.
So why don't you do what you always do, which is just write checks?
Because they write checks to the wrong people. They go and bring in players that are washed up. Or Manchester United has been viewed for a long time now as we'll just pretend like we want to go play for Manchester United to get a pay raise where I am. And they're used as that type of. They're used as Quebec City.
Like a bargaining chip.
Yeah, they're a bargaining chip. The X-Ray J will be on the hangout later today. Why can't professional soccer players have enough skill play any style?
Yes.
Well, it's not that. It's certain styles. You need certain different type of players. And soccer, you change how the players. Certain players work in certain systems. They work in certain spots. You can move them around. It's more of a chessboard, and not a full chessboard, I guess, if you will, because bishops are bishops. You can't move them in different spots. But it's not one of those things that you can just. There are some players that just can't play certain systems because their attributes and skills don't work in them. So this is one of those things where, I've gone now even in the segment from fired up to just being sad again.
But isn't that really the intended effect of the fired up segment is you come out, you express outrage, and by the end you've just run out of gas and you're back to your original state, which is despondent and downcast.
I don't even know when their next game. I know who their next game is. It's not going to go well. They play Liverpool. You want to talk about like legendary rivalries? Yes. Liverpool, Manchester United reaches hundreds of millions of people anytime they meet. Anytime they meet, hundreds of millions of people watch this. They meet on the 5th at 9:30. This is going to be a beatdown.
I don't know what to say. I mean, I would give you a cold compress to help you through this, but I don't know. Don't we have to get to Craig Button soon?
Well, yeah, we got to get to a sports update first.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Then we've got Craig Button. Keep those texts coming in. Paris Jewel, like you're just done with the soccer talk.
Yeah.
Okay, move on from the footy, Dave says. Paris Jewel and Tim Buck, 780-218-9999. Flexible payment options, such as do not play until 2026 in store right now. 4-carat oval diamond solitaire for only $79.99. That's $7,999, not $79.99. While quantities last, it will sell out. Portions of their sale at Paris Jewelers goes to their holiday collection, will be just donated to the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Canada. We've got Craig Button. We've got Weekly Confessions. We got Cool Bet Hotline. We got That Hurts. That's all coming up in the 7 o'clock hour. Dave Jameson, Matt Iwanek with you here on the Nielsen Show with Lieutenant Eric, presented by South Fort Chevrolet. Here's YouTube Trev with a sports update.
Yesterday in the NHL, just 3 games, which saw the Panthers defeat the Rangers 5-3, the Jets shut out the Predators 3-0, and the Seattle Kraken 5-2 over the Utah Hockey Club. The Oilers are back in action for their final game of the year tonight. Edmonton looks to get back in the win column tonight against the Utah Hockey Club. You can join Tom Gazzola for the GCL Diesel pre- and post-game shows. Coverage starts at 6 right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. 12 other games in the NHL tonight, including an all-Canadian matchup between the Flames and Canucks. The Canadians take on the Golden Knights, and the Maple Leafs host the Islanders. To the World Juniors we go. Yesterday, just 2 games, both going to overtime, which saw Slovakia edge out Kazakhstan 5-4, and Latvia beating the Germans 4-3. Tonight in the juniors, Team Canada takes on longtime rival Team USA. Puck drop for this one goes at 5:30. 3 other games in the juniors today. Czechia will take on Sweden. Finland will go up against Latvia. And Switzerland plays Kazakhstan. 6 games in the association tonight, including the Raptors going up against the Celtics. Toronto will look to snap their 10-game losing streak. Tip-off for this one goes at 1 o'clock. And to finish things off, Week 17 caps off seeing the Lions get past the 49ers by the score of 40-34. This sports update is brought to you by Green Plan, providing you with award-winning environmental and consulting services. Whether it's municipal, industrial, or residential, plan it right with Green Plan. Visit greenplan.com or give them a call at 780-455-4292.
What say you? Hey, nasty crew. We got the Nielson Show flu, and there's nothing we can do about it. What say you? Hey, nasty crew. My wife thinks I got better things to do, but there's nothing I can do about it. We're tuning in on TuneIn, we're listening online. We catch up with the podcast when we fall behind. We're texting in the nasty chat, what's on our mind. 780-218-9999. No more interference from corporate interest. Just Dusty and Eric and all of the bad cats like Brzezinski and Noodles. Captain can gauge it if it's a fun but a cool band to make a little wager. We can't wait for the Monday mandate. Shaggy's always on time. Tommy's always late.
Would you like a cup of tea?
Forget about the old place. Hey, we were number 1 in the text race. We don't miss all the commercial breaks, but we sure miss Nickelback today. We wanna hear some Huntix and we wanna hear Renee. Why not hold the neck up when I wanna kiss away? Beat left the tire fire and remember that name. We love every goal song, but what about the games? Macarmella, Rapaport, Dragger, Engineer. It ain't Christmas season, but they sound like reindeer. Button and my cousin and the tales of the North. All about him game in person, Dusty go forth. What say you? AM Nasty crew. We got the Nielsen Show flu, and there's nothing we can do about it. And there's nothing we can do about it. And there's nothing we can do about it.
This is the Nielsen Show. Matt Iwanek, Dave Jameson with you here in for Dustin Nielsen and Lieutenant Eric. The Nielsen Show presented by South Fort Chevrolet. YouTube Trev the Tube with us here as well. Georgia Satellite. Good morning, Nasties. Apologies for my tardiness. I have a note. Oh, good. He's out in Atlanta.
Oh, is his pleasure? Or
he lives out there.
Oh, okay.
He's also the commissioner of Dusty's CFL. Well, the CFL Fantasy League Dusty is in.
Okay.
That has been spawned from our league.
Oh,
and they think
the
theirs
junior.
they think theirs is better. It's not. Obviously, we get you every so often come out. Our championship is coming up. Our championship AGM night in January. I'll keep you posted.
I would like to attend that.
There's two things I have to ask you after the show. Though.
Okay.
So there's something else with that. Momentarily, we'll get to Craig Button of TSN. In this hour, we got to get the weekly confessions. That hurts for James H. Brown. A reminder, we got kind of easy trivia. 3 questions too many in the 8 o'clock. Joaquin Gage, Orange and Blue Breakfast. Ski report, the rant for Willie Huff, which will feature the A&W text of the day, where you could win that GC to A&W. I'm now saying, like, we're looking for that text of the day. Atif's poem was wonderful, but it was ChatGPT's, or it was AI generated. I've got to pull it from contention.
Does that happen a lot on this program, where people, for whatever reason, and Atif is he's a gem, so that's not a common practice.
That I've noticed. No, the nasties, I got to give them some credit. They come up with some pretty clever things. But that was fairly obvious just within the grammar. Usually Atif has multiple spelling errors, and that was like the first time he's never had a spelling error. So that's why I knew that one was wrong. I'm sure we might have been fooled maybe once or twice before, but we can tell.
I knew Atif's was wrong. Mm-hmm. Because
I thought it was good work.
Well, there were there were certain things in there that just didn't make any sense. Contests abound with prizes so strange. We haven't given away prizes, you and I.
No,
we haven't. I'm not the master of an awkward pause like that.
Let's read
other people. There were some things that worked in there, but like listeners call in with tales, and we don't take calls.
Yeah,
right. Like so, there were certain things that okay, clearly ChatGPT doesn't fully know. Let's get to Craig Button from TSN. He is our Pro-Am Sports Hockey Insider, brought to you by Pro-Am Sports, your locally owned sports memorabilia and apparel specialist. Gear up for game day. Oilers jerseys, headwear, hoodies, hats from Fanatics, New Era 47, Mitchell and Ness, in stock now, located in Edmonton at the corner of St. Albert Trail, 128th Ave, online at proamsports.ca. You forgot to wear your hat from Pro-Am Sports, but later this week,
do it later.
Hopefully, we will get you in that hat with Lieutenant Eric here with us. And now it is Craig Button. Craig, you are with Matawanek, Dave Jameson. Good morning to you. Have you ever used ChatGPT or any of those AI websites?
Well, no, I haven't actually yet. I've heard my wife uses it. I know my daughters use it, but no, I have never even attempted yet. Maybe it's just because I'm either too stupid or I'm too smart. You decide which.
I'm going to go with I'm going with the too smart and try to stay away from it. One of our hosts here, Reed Wilkins, tried to get it to create a CFL schedule, and it struggled with it. Reed Wilkins
just like
beat
humans
ChatGPT.
do, just like human beings do. Yes.
Craig, we've got a big game tonight. It is Canada taking on the USA. Has Canada-US become, or the US become Canada's biggest rivalry in hockey right now?
I think so. I think that when you consider what's happened at the World Junior Tournament, who's won the tournament in the last dozen years. You look at the U18, certainly, and then hopefully it's building. I mean, we're looking forward to the Four Nations face-off, and we can look at that U.S. team and we can see how strong it is. And I don't think that there's any question that the rivalry is not only there, but it's growing, and I think it will only become that much stronger, and with it, probably that much more fierce.
Craig, the conversation around roster construction, you've built teams, you know how hard it is. When you hear the conversation and the criticism of how this team has been built, where do you go with that? What's your assessment of the job that's been done to this point? And also speak to just how difficult it is in a country with as much talent as we've got to try and get the right mix to win at this level.
I think, Dave, one of the things that you just touched on was get the right mix to win. I don't think there's any question that the talent level and the quality of talent in this country is deep and wide. And the key now is how you come together, how you find a way as individuals to become a really good team. I'll take you back to 2020, and the tournament was in Ostrava, and Dale Hunter was the coach. And Canada, Russia lost to Czechia on day one. Canada beat the U.S., and then Canada got walloped by Russia, 6-0. And then, the sky was falling. It was unbelievable what was happening. Can you believe, excuse me, can you believe what's happening? Can you believe they picked these players? That's just part and parcel of how it goes. The next day, the U.S. beat Russia. And I remember Canada was getting prepared for their third game, and I was talking to Ty Smith, who was on the team and played. And I said, "Isn't that amazing, Ty? Look at that. The sky's blue, the sun's out, and it isn't falling." And he turned to me, he goes, "That's tournament play. That's what happens in tournament play. You have to recognize it. You have to understand that it's about building." And so, has Canada been able to really assert themselves in this tournament? I would say maybe for 2 periods against Finland. Other than that, they haven't. But that doesn't mean they won't. And I think this game on New Year's Eve between USA and Canada is a test for both teams. Because to this point in time, 5 days into the tournament and on day 6, both these teams are trying to find their game. Both these teams are trying to find that. And that's the key to tournament play. So one of these teams is going to come out of this game the winner. And the other team is going to come out of it having to face either Sweden or Czechia in a quarterfinal, which is not going to be any easy task. And so when you think about the incentive to win and you think about the challenge if you lose, the path to the gold medal gets a lot easier if you win this game. The path to the gold medal becomes a real landmine if you don't win this game on New Year's Eve. But both these teams, USA and Canada, have to find their game. They haven't found their games. When you're watching the tournament to this point in time, at the outset, and I do a bracketology at the beginning, and you look at it on paper, Canada and USA, I go, okay, that's easy gold medal game. If you ask me today, do a bracketology, it's Sweden and Czechia in the gold medal game, and Canada and USA might be fighting for a bronze medal. One of them might not even get to that medal game. So, but that's tournament play. And so the task for both teams is, how do you find a way to get your team play stronger and better and more consistent?
You talk about that Canada-U.S. needing to find their game still here. Does that also speak, though, a little bit to maybe the World Juniors, we're seeing more parity amongst all the teams, that all the other teams have just gotten a little bit better and they're challenging the U.S. and, now I guess get the U.S. and Canada a little bit more?
Yeah, and I think we have to accept that in Canada. I think we have to understand that a big part of Canada's success has led to other countries' success. Canada's been a model for the other countries. If you go and look and you watch, tune into the Sweden-Czechia game today and watch Czechia. They're big, they're strong, they're fast, they're rugged, they're hard. Well, am I not describing how Canada brought their teams to the World Junior Tournament? Sweden, big, they just added Noel Nord. They're adding big guys. If you come to this tournament with little players and you don't have speed and you don't have some jam, you're not going to win in this tournament. But who set the template for that? That was Canada. Winning 5 straight in the 90s, winning 5 straight earlier this century. The USA follows that model. That is the model. And certainly the parity is there, but Canada set the bar. And it was up to the other countries to rise up to that bar. And they have, Matthew. They've gotten right there, and the parity in this. So I think we have to, and when I talk about I talk about Canada, proud. Anytime your players put on the maple leaf, there's a pride there. There's also like the critical eye that goes there. But I think there has to be an acceptance that the other countries are darn good and getting better.
Craig, has there been a player, or maybe I shouldn't limit it to a player, that in your mind with Canada, or maybe more broadly, you want to take a look at some other countries, who every player coming in is obviously excellent, and in some cases, they are destined for stardom. Who's elevated their game? Who has risen to a level that maybe you didn't expect to?
Well, that's a good question, because I think if you ask me the question, who hasn't risen to the level I expected to, that would be a large number. We don't have enough time to go through it.
Yes.
Carter George, it was amazing to me at the beginning of the tournament and this came from the coaching staff. Well, we'll see. We got to really. No, he didn't. You had one goalie. You had one number one goaltender, and that was Carter George. At the Hlinka Gretzky level, at the U18 level and now in 2 games at the World Junior level, he hasn't lost a game. He is a stud. And when you consider that you have him in the net, I mean, even think about the game against the game the other day against Germany. I mean, it's a 1-0 game. It's a 1-0. I mean, the game isn't really going anywhere. But and a lucky break for Canada ends up getting them their second goal. But all that being said, Carter George is a steady guy. To me, he and when I look at it, he and Callum Ritchie are the only 2 players that, to me, have played to the level of their capability. Everybody else is trying to find their game. And I think that's been a big problem for Canada. And, you know, they're not only just trying to find their game individually, they're trying to find their game within the team. And I think that's been a real challenge. I think you look at the USA, Trey Augustine, like who came into this as the goaltender of record last year for the gold medal winning team. He struggled. I mean, there's a lot of talk amongst the U.S. group. You know, is Hampton Slakinski going to start this game on New Year's Eve? Because Trey's a good goal, but he struggled. Then I go to the other side, and you know, watching Sweden and Czechia. Axel Sandin Pellikka is going to be a star in the National Hockey League. He was the Detroit Red Wings first-round draft pick. I always thought he was good. Let me just tell you, I'm wrong. He is way better than I thought he was going to be. And I thought he'd be really good. And then you flip over to the Czechs. Michael Rabel, the goaltender, 6'6". I mean, he's been outstanding in the group. But Edward Shala, who was drafted by Seattle, another player that he's the captain of that team, just raising the level of his game again and again and again. So those are just a few of the players that I think have just grabbed this tournament by the scruff of the neck and been real key players for their teams. And on the other hand, you know, outside of Callum Ritchie and Carter George for Canada, I think David Carl for the U.S. and Dave Cameron for Canada are both looking for more players to seize the moment. Carpe diem.
We're with Craig Button of TSN. Okay, Canada, U.S. tonight. What's the key for Canada finding a victory against this American team?
I think if they want to play outside the dots, they're not going to win. If they want to play this puck possession, play outside the dots, don't attack inside the middle, don't play at the net, they're not going to beat the U.S. They simply won't. And I mean, you talked about how they scored. I mean, Latvia, don't get fooled by the shot clock. The high danger chances were just about equal between Latvia and Canada. Germany, again, I mean, they had a little surge there in the third period. Canada did, and what it allows is teams to just stay. Barry Trotz said it best when he was with the New York Islanders. He goes, you want to stay outside the dots and have the puck? You can have it till next year. We don't care. You know, but when you come inside the dots and blow the circles, that's when you're going to make us pay attention, and that's when we will pay attention. Canada has not done that. They have not done that with respect to attacking inside the dots and blow the circle. And if they don't, they're not going to win.
Perfect. Well, Craig, hope you have a wonderful New Year. Enjoy the rest of the World Juniors. And Dusty and Eric, they will chat with you next Tuesday.
Okay, thanks. You guys have a good day, too, and Happy New Year.
There's Craig Button of TSN, our Pro-Am Sports hockey insider, giving us some time as he's been busy calling the World Juniors out in Ottawa. He's with Brian Mudryk calling some of those other games. Always
Craig
good.
is... and, you know, we do hockey well in this country, obviously. We got a lot of great analysts, but I don't know of anyone as versatile and as knowledgeable on not just the NHL games that we follow so closely, but really kind of the whole ecosystem of the sport in our country than Craig Button.
He's the best.
Oh, yes.
He's fantastic.
Oh, yes.
And it's always great when he's on with Dusty and Eric. They've got a nice little thing going here. Oh, Spectrum Rental sent their liner in for today. It's wonderful.
Would you like me to give it a pre-read just so?
Oh no, I'm good.
Before you can handle it.
We'll have that after the sportscast.
Okay, terrific. I look forward to that
because we have. I got more things to discuss on that one about my issue. Well, no, you know about it. You know about it, how the morning started for myself, which impacted you to a degree, impacted you too, Trev.
Profoundly impacted.
I think he was pretty rattled this morning by what was going on.
I was very confused when I first arrived. I'm not going to lie. but I'll let you guys.
Yeah, no,
take it
well,
away.
it's really all on Maddie.
I will let people know
is.
of that. So we'll get to the Cool Bet hotline right away here. We are in the Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen studio, where somebody did say we should put the fireplace on the TV here, but then Popeyes doesn't get their logo there.
No, and that's
That's the
essential.
thing. I could put it on this TV over here. Gager, actually, on Christmas Eve on the TV, because I'm intrigued. I'm going to have to ask.
You hit the fire
Well,
log?
where do you come out on TVs in a studio? You've been around radio stations
Maybe
a long
where
time.
do I come out on that?
Like
That
watching
seems like
TV
an
while
obvious.
doing a show. Because Will Fraser, I remember back in the day, was completely against it.
Okay, well, he's also the guy that brought these headphones.
Reed came in and wanted a TV, and
Yes, I'm with Reed.
Okay,
like
perfect.
so many things
Sure.
in life, I'm with Reed.
Because my thing was initially, I was just like, you have to ask Dusty. I'm not approving it. But like, I'm not. There was one where I don't know how. Maybe it came across. I was saying no, but my thing was I'm not for or against it. I'm not going to go to bat to get a TV, but I'm also not against having it. The only thing I was against, we don't have a lot of power outlets here, so was like, it has to be plugged in over here because I don't want us to get taken down. But so we got a TV. Listener actually gave it to Reed and Jay. It's called the ESTV.
Oh, I see what they did there.
Get it?
Okay, here's where I'll go. We're in the business of information, and yes, we have these. I get it. But if you are a relatively competent broadcaster, you should be able to.
Have you tuned into us?
Do a few different things, split your mind, split your attention, and be able to speak into an open mic, look in the camera over here, and also out of the corner of your eye, have up the,
Well, I could put up a game right now, possibly. I was going to put up
ketchup chip bowl from wherever and be following that game as well. Like, so I'm like many things in life, I'm aligned with Reed Wilkins on that. Is you should be able to do it all, Matty.
I know yesterday they were having issues with this. I heard Jay talking about how he was having troubles with pressing certain things. But Gager, he put on like a fireplace in here.
Yes, well, that's
One day.
as you
I don't
would
know.
in Canada.
Well, and that
Is that
actually...
a uniquely Canadian thing where we have the fireplace on, or is that something our American friends, as Rod
That is a
Black
good
used
question.
to say?
I think that's just all over.
To our friends south of the border. Yeah, there it is, the crackling fireplace.
Well,
That's fine.
Gager got a nice one where it was like this... It was almost like this whole backdrop. And it was just very calming while he did his show. So no one else could see it. They created a nice commercial to get going here. So there was this TV that we could put a fireplace on.
I'm fine with the television. It is not a distraction. Do whatever you got to do.
Well, I just want to get the fireplace going here. Although I could throw on like a World Juniors or something maybe. Unboxing season right now. Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen. 4-piece signature chicken, 4-piece tenders, 4 regular sides, and 4 biscuits. That's all at Popeyes. Check them out. PopeyesChicken.ca for a location near you to go pick up some biscuits.
And why are we pronouncing biscuits in that fashion?
I don't know. I've gone into a thing where I remember there's a way of like, how lovely is that while we're doing a show here?
Bucolic.
I think Toby from formerly of The Bear.
Yes.
He would
Toby
say
Show.
things like that, like biscuits, and it just stuck with me. So now anytime I read a Popeyes thing and biscuits come up, I have to go
I gotcha.
biscuits. And at one time on the morning show, somebody texted in and be like, their dog, that's how they say biscuits to their dog, and their dog was getting very excited because they were watching the show and I'd be biscuits, and the dog was thinking that biscuits were coming.
Okay.
I think I've said it enough. We have weekly confessions and that hurts, but we got to get to the cool bet hotline of the day. Canada, U.S. This isn't going to be a hotline of the day. It's all like it's close. It's Canada on the money line's -106, U.S. -115. So the Americans are slight favorites in this one, according to Coolbet. I ain't touching this one. I'm actually looking at something that's happening tomorrow. We're not on air.
You're
tomorrow,
risk
so I'm looking at
averse. You should be an NFL coach.
The thing is, so we nailed it yesterday, by the way. Detroit -3.5.
Okay.
Got that right. Tomorrow, well, today, college football playoffs. The quarterfinals begins. You got Penn State, Boise State. Tomorrow, you got 3 more games. Notre Dame, Georgia, Ohio State, Oregon, as well as Texas taking on Arizona State. Oregon, Ohio State is where I'm looking at this one. Oregon is the only undefeated team in the nation.
Them Ducks.
They've already beaten Ohio State once this year. Ohio State looked very good against Tennessee a couple weeks ago in the first playoff game. But Oregon is a strong team. I'm not sold on Ryan Day. I'm not sold on Ohio State. And Oregon are the underdogs. They are plus 105 on the money line. You don't even have to go point spread here. You can just take the Oregon Ducks straight up plus 105, plus money on the Oregon Ducks. There's your cool bet hotline of the day. To me, it's the Oregon Ducks tomorrow against Ohio State.
I have nothing to offer that's contrary to that.
I've got my picks with Dusty, or not Dusty, with Lucas all in when it comes to the playoffs. He has Boise State, Texas, Notre Dame, some would say, on Ohio State.
I think we'll go Notre Dame.
I've got Penn State, Arizona State, Georgia, and Oregon. So I'm liking where I am.
You like this expanded playoff format?
No. You asked me a question.
But clearly, you've thought about the answer.
Yes.
You've worked up a hot take already. Why do you not like the expanded? Do you not want more people to have bull money coming their way?
So I think what we saw, they were 4 teams that jumped to 12. I wanted to go to 8 teams. I would have liked to have seen them jump to 8.
You wanted measured expansion as opposed to an explosion.
We saw 4 college football playoff games that were blowouts to start.
Yeah.
Which shows that 4 teams didn't deserve to necessarily be in the playoffs. This weekend, or these next 2 days, I've got Boise State and Arizona State that we're going to be watching. I'm very concerned with how they're going to produce. I'm more concerned about Arizona State than Boise State, but I think what's going to happen is Arizona State might get run out too, which then I could say there's 5 teams that didn't deserve to be in these playoffs. That at 4 teams, I could only maybe make the argument any given year for 1 or 2 more teams that should have been in it. I don't think there was more than 6 teams, generally most years. At worst, maybe you could have got to a 7th team. They could have argued that deserved to be in the contention for a national title. They jumped it to 12, where, okay, but in these past years, we never thought, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, we're going to win a national title. So now we're just playing these extra games. You know why? Money.
No way.
Exactly. But we're playing those extra games for no reason. For no reason. To me,
there's reason.
We should have went to an 8 team and seen how the 8 team went. Because there's still a good chance with the 8 team that you play those first 4 games and there's still 1 or 2 blowouts in there. And then we get to the semis and then things get really good. That's what's going to happen at 12 is we're not far. They'll go to 16 just to make it easier because there's these 4 bye weeks and stuff. What's going to happen is we'll have 16 teams and largely in football, of those 16, over half of them shouldn't be there. 8, 9 of those teams shouldn't be there and don't have a shot at a national title. And we won't get that team that gets hot that goes on a run. They're just going to lose early. So, no, I'm not a big fan right now of the expanded playoffs. I think I'll enjoy it starting now. But we're at 8. This is where I think the playoffs should have began. Well, and so there's an answer to you on that one.
I'm regretting my decision to ask that question. I get you angrier than you were already.
Mr. Lucas Holt does want to know what the money line is on the Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl. His Washington Huskies are minus 109 on the money line. Louisville minus 112. This is basically a pick'em. Louisville slight favorites, Lucas. Louisville minus 1 on the point spread. Washington plus 1, obviously. So very, very tight. Almost basically a pick'em. They say this is just going to be. This is going to be no
purple and gold.
Of course, you would cheer for Lucas's team.
Well, no, because I'm a transplanted West Coaster, and the Huskies were a team. Warren Moon, correct? Warren Moon,
absolutely.
Sonny Six Killer, which has got to be one of the great names in football, in sport. Long ago, quarterback of the Huskies, by the name of Sonny Six Killer. You tell me you wouldn't wear that jersey?
Oh, I like that one.
Yeah, you do. Yes, you would.
It's just he couldn't get paid at the time for that.
No, he couldn't. Oh, yeah, because student athlete.
Zach to come. It was a 24/7 YouTube stream during the holidays. It was lovely talking about what was on the TV. Bone says March Madness, Maddie. But like in March Madness, we've seen those Cinderella runs to get to the Final Four, and basketball is a little bit different, I find. But I think the thing about March Madness is that you go into that, and I think any given year, you could sit there and be like, these 3 teams should go win it. And a lot of times they don't win it.
No.
In college football, I could probably make the case for again, this year, I'd make the case for probably 3 or 4 teams to go win it. I'm guaranteeing that two of those teams will be in the finals.
And you could apply that same rationale to the NFL.
Yeah, there's 7 good teams this year.
There's 7 good teams. There are a lot in the squishy middle, and there's a bunch in the gutter.
Football's very different in that way.
Yeah.
There's the haves, there's the have-nots type thing, much more than most sports. And that's why I wouldn't compare it to March Madness. Now, give me a 64-team college football playoff. Maybe I'll enjoy that a little bit more. Like, if we're going to let's just jump right to the crazy. And then there'll be probably some better games. But bowl season was a lot of fun. Scuba Steve, Boise State pregame show today. Starts at 12:30, 5-hour pregame show.
That's the way you do it.
Well,
that's the way you break down, set up, deconstruct football, my friends.
5 hours. What could you possibly be discussing?
Well, that's longer than the football game.
Yeah.
But Lucas will need to text me if he's still listening, if he hasn't immediately turned off and gone away. The Rough Riders pregame show, I think, is 3 hours.
I believe so.
Or because there's a pregame show, and then I think they have a pre-pregame show in Saskatchewan. I think you could get up to words of 3 hours of pregame coverage out in Regina leading into a Riders game.
You're only doing that, my friends, certainly for the CFL, if you can sell it. And it tells me that they have people out there. Yeah. And, yes, there's the listening part, but there's the selling part. And people, it still matters there.
The football game, in the CFL, 3 hours you're looking at. So the Riders do a full pregame show that's as long as the game.
Full props to whoever's hosting that.
This college football game tonight, because it's a playoff game, I'm expecting it probably to go close to 4 hours. So the pregame show will be longer, though, still, than the actual football game.
That's how you get it done. That's old school.
At the same time, what else are you talking about in Boise?
Oh, now come on now.
Well, come on. What are they getting into? Like, this is the only thing that matters for them. Once Boise State loses in football tonight, or if they even win and they go to the next one, once they lose out football, they have nothing until next football season.
Well, I'm going to go seek out things to do in Boise on the internet.
You seek that out. We'll get to a YouTube Trev Sports update. When we come back, we'll hear what you have for that as you type away. We'll get to weekly confessions for Spectrum Rental, and that hurts for James H. Brown, Alberta Injury Lawyers. This is the Nielsen Show with Lieutenant Eric Matawanek, Dave Jamieson in for Dusty and Eric. Here's YouTube Trev with a sports update.
Yesterday in the NHL, just 3 games, which saw the Panthers defeat the Rangers 5-3. The Jets shut out the Predators 3-0, and the Seattle Kraken 5-2 over the Utah Hockey Club. The Oilers are back in action for their final game of the year tonight. Edmonton looks to get back in the win column tonight against the Utah Hockey Club. You can join Tom Gazzola for the GCL Diesel pre- and post-game shows. Coverage starts at 6 o'clock right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. 12 other games in the NHL tonight, including an all-Canadian matchup between the Flames and Canucks. The Canadians take on the Golden Knights, and the Maple Leafs host the Islanders. To the World Juniors we go. Yesterday, just 2 games, both going to overtime, which saw Slovakia edge out Kazakhstan 5-4, and Latvia beating the Germans 4-3. Tonight in the Juniors, Team Canada takes on longtime rival Team USA. Puck drop for this one goes at 5:30. 3 other games in the Juniors today. Czechia will take on Sweden. Finland will go up against Latvia. And Switzerland plays Kazakhstan. And 6 games in the association tonight, including the Raptors going up against the Celtics. Toronto will look to snap their 10-game losing streak. Tip-off for this one goes at 1 o'clock. And to finish things off, Week 17 caps off seeing the Lions get past the 49ers by the score of 40-34. This sports update is brought to you by the fine folks at Park Mazda and dealer principal Mitch Lewicki, your dealer for life.
Hi there. If you're like me, you like to picture yourself in luxury, even though there's absolutely no way you could afford it. And if you can, well, even better. Thankfully, I picture myself in something that is luxury, but still absolutely affordable, like the all-new Mazda CX-90 from Park Mazda. With the new luxury features like facial recognition settings and quilted detail Napa leather seating, I can pretend to be comfortable with all of my proper settings activated without even touching a button. Thanks to Mitch Lewicki and the great staff at Park Mazda. I like to picture Mitch Lewicki with like a giant eagle's wings and singing lead vocals for Leonard Skinner with like an angel band. And I'm in the crowd hammered drunk.
Park Mazda, your dealer for life in Sherwood Park off Y Road, parkmazda.ca.
The Nielsen Show featuring Lieutenant Eric. only on Edmonton Sports Talk.
This is the Nielsen Show. Matt Awanek, Dave Jamieson, YouTube Trev with you here. The Nielsen Show with Lieutenant Eric, presented by South Fort Chevrolet. They got 2025 Silverado Customs with payments as low as $199 bi-weekly. See dealer for details. That is southfortchev.com. We will get to confessions right away here. Did you find what to do in Boise?
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff. A lot of scavenger hunts. A lot of rafting, from what I can tell here. There seems to be a river green belt. It's getting a lot of love here on TripAdvisor, and a World Center for Birds of Prey, and apparently the old Idaho Penitentiary is worthy of your time.
Obviously.
So for you to cast aspersions on Boise, I think is unfair. There are other things to do there than just football.
I apologize to Boise.
I'm sure you do.
I apologize to Boise. They got a great running back in Genty, who many think got robbed of the Heisman.
I wonder if he's any relation to our friend Rashad Genty, who used to play for the Esks and then went to the Cincinnati Bengals for a while.
Ashton Genty is 21.
Mm-hmm. Spelled the same.
The son of a U.S. Navy chief petty officer.
Okay, yeah.
So it doesn't say anything about Rashad Genty, not like a nephew or anything like that.
I'm just rearranging the furniture here. By the way, I have to compliment you on this desk. This appears to be handcrafted, right?
Yeah. Dusty got someone locally. I think they were a listener.
Quite wonderful. I like
it. It was
this.
in the summer while we were off.
Yes.
Got it custom built. This. It's supposed to be 4 parts, but the room's just too small to add the 4, and we didn't need it.
I love it.
And then we didn't have the right bracket to put this on the wall, so we put that there, and it's just stuck there ever since. So we will get to confessions momentarily here, but I do need to bring something up about you. As in the month of January.
Yes.
You will be taking part in something. You were going to go Dry January.
Dry January, which is not a new concept or thing at all, but for the Canadian Cancer Society, I've done this the second year, and hundreds, if not thousands, of people also do the same thing for a variety of reasons. But the Canadian Cancer Society has been doing this program, and I did it last year. And as the name would imply, you swear off alcohol for the month. And my brother, Rod, passed in October of this year, and so I wanted to do something to honor his memory. And I am a cancer patient as well. And, I've lost both of my brothers now to the disease. And so it's just a very small thing that I want to do. And it's something that, there is obvious health benefits for not having alcohol. And I'm by no means a teetotaler. But I think it's a very small thing I can do to keep his memory alive for me, and also do something good for myself as well, and raise money, much needed money. The treatments he received over his almost 5 years of fighting cancer, it's very expensive, and it takes a lot of research and a lot of money to do what we do in this country to support those battling the disease. And so it's a small gesture, but it's very meaningful for me on a personal level.
GoDry.ca. If you just go there at the top, there's a search, type in David Jamieson. Yeah. There's 2 that show up. His has his picture on it.
Yeah.
Click that one. And you can help Dave Jamieson. And as you mentioned, the second year doing it.
And gratefully appreciate all donations, and not just to me, obviously, to anybody who's undertaking this for the next month. But it's, yes, you get to the end and you go, boy, I'd sure like a beer, right? Because I don't consume any other alcohol other than that. But knowing what's at stake and how it can help is important.
Do you go hard today?
What's that?
One last hurrah today.
One last hurrah today. No, I'll slide into this. No, I won't go hard.
Lucas let me know, by the way, it is 3 hours for the riders. He remembers it being longer at one point. The riders also do a 2-hour-long post-game show with Colin.
As only they can there. I've heard some of the post-game shows out there.
They do. So basically for a game, there's 8 hours of coverage. 3 hours pre-game, 2 hour post-game, 3 hours for a football game.
Is our friend Lachlan, our friends, because Jamie and I...
They're on the other station.
Oh, that's right. So
they're not rights holder, but they do a pre-game show, their own pre-game show. Like we used to do with 1260, we never had the rights. Or here on EST, we don't have rights.
Yes.
We do pre and post. I think because he's on the green zone.
Yeah.
And I think so I don't know if he'll be involved with that or not. Let's get to weekly confessions. It is for Spectrum Rental, where they confess to fabricating most of their weekly confessions over the last year. But they never lie about construction heat. All the best in the new year from all of us at Spectrum Rental. So today didn't get off to a great start for me. I'm a man of routine. I'm a man of doing things in my way. When things like I'm already out of routine doing a morning show. I plan out my morning. So I put things out yesterday, got things ready to go. This morning I wake up, I get ready, I go throw my laptop in my backpack, I put jacket on, I grab things. I have to leave my house with, it's 4 things: car keys, house keys, office keys, my phone.
Are they
and my wallet? 5 things, but that's always in my jacket in the winter.
Are all of the keys together?
No,
in one
they're
ring?
separate things.
Okay, that may I suggest
I'll
consolidate, but anyhow, keep going.
No, because then I'm carrying way too many things.
All right.
So today I have my house keys. They're on one spot. Car keys are in my jacket. I don't have my office keys. And I'm looking. I don't know where they are. I don't have any idea where my office keys are. I go to my car. I take a look. They're not in there. And then I was like, damn, I must have left them in the office yesterday. I'm also worried, like, if they're not, I don't know where these office keys are.
And we're screwed. That would be what would happen there, right? Or do we have another alternative way to get in here?
Well, Trev got in. We all have our own way in. Everyone has their own way in. Every staff member here has the exact same way in. It's like our swipe card at the old place.
Yeah.
That's what I would have lost. So then, like, I text Dave. I don't know if he got it right away. I was like, yeah, don't take your time, come in a little bit, because Trev has to let us in today. And so I was early today. I sat outside probably. I got here about 5 o'clock.
Oh, sorry, man.
No, that's not on you. And so I sat there in my car.
I got it at 4:47, and I either chose not to look at it or I looked at it and I went, well, whatever.
Sorry,
no, it's all good. So I sat there 5. It was also a day where I had my music so quiet that I almost basically couldn't hear it. So I just sat, but it was also very peaceful because our street has nothing going on it. And I don't know, something about the drive today. There was like no cars on the road for me. It was like...
Well, you know what day it is, don't you?
But more so than like other mornings that I've gone.
Oh, okay.
Like on the road I was on, like there wasn't a single car with me for the majority of my drive. And so it was like this super quiet drive, but I got to the station and then I sat for probably about 18 minutes. I think you showed up about 5:17, I think you were.
Yes.
So 17 minutes, quickly went out, said hi to you. Then we went in our own cars because it was cold. And then Trev showed up just after like 5:20. So we didn't have to wait long.
5:27 maybe.
It's a little bit before that. Oh. And then Trev let us in. I went right to my office. And of course, right on my desk, there
they were.
There they are.
And it's because I had to rush out of here yesterday because I had to go ship a bunch of things. And so I was...
Is this pricing? Is this pricing?
Our Nasty Club merch bundles. For the people that paid for shipping. I had paid for it. I had labeled them. I just need to go drop them off to be shipped. And so I was bringing those back and forth. I'd done a bunch of radio already. Been busy. And usually when I leave, I always double check. I have my things. But yesterday I didn't double check that I had those keys. And boom, lo and behold, today's a day I need it. And I was also thinking, though, what if Trev forgot his keys? That was part of my 5 o'clock by myself thinking. I'm like, if Trev shows up and he doesn't have his keys.
My keys are always on my car keys.
We're screwed.
So we're good.
That's good.
But that would have been scary.
So there's a reason they're not all on my house keys.
Yes.
I live downtown, so I go walking places and stuff. So I have them very light. I have my house keys and the fob to get into my house and my parents' keys. That's it. Then I have my car keys separately because I'm not always driving. Like I said, I'm downtown. I can walk a lot of places, so I don't need that key with me. And then office keys, they're only if I'm coming here. I don't want like this massive amount of keys to always be carrying. Only when I'm coming to work or leaving.
Look at the size of the...
Yeah, it's not too bad. It's not too bad.
It's
I
like
don't
a
need that
forest of
24/7.
keys that Trev has.
3. I got 6 keys.
I'm walking to go to my
7
folks
keys.
on a Sunday. I don't want to carry all that with me. And here's the problem: if you lose that, you lose them all.
Yeah.
Do you
that's
find
actually
that
a good point.
Awanak puts an unusual amount of thought, unnecessarily
On
so,
most-
into stuff like
on
this?
most things, yes, just weird things. Yeah, I do notice that.
Yes, I would imagine. Yeah, you've been in close contact with him.
Yeah, but it was funny. I was driving in today, and all of a sudden, it's only happened one time where Lieutenant Eric, myself, and Dusty, we pull in at the same time. It never happens. But I see two cars, and I'm like, oh, the boys just arrived. And I'm like, this is great. And then, yeah, Matty forgot his keys. It was funny. I'm just like, what are they doing? But, yeah.
Sitting in separate cars, not talking. Why did you have your music on so low that it was inaudible? Or only
Well, when I
audible to you?
drive, I have it really quiet in the morning because I don't want it too loud. And it's so quiet out, you don't need it that loud, and you could hear it just fine. And today, when I turned it down, it was just even quieter for some reason, and I just was really enjoying the silence almost. It was a wonderful drive. It was just peaceful.
Why not just go for total silence then?
That could have.
I mean, is that not a fair
Yeah,
question,
no,
Trev?
that's
I mean,
fair.
Trev,
It worked out. I don't know. I just
I do
left
that.
it as is. I was comfortable in my spot. Mm-hmm. I was comfortable being me, Dave.
well, a lot of people would wonder why you're comfortable being you, but that's fine. I mean, go and do what you have to do.
Atif in the Parish Drillers inbox. I would like to confess something. Yes, I used AI on my first phone of the day. I did send in a second poem. Oh, first poem of the day. I come to the realization I'm not funny anymore. Who says that, Atif? I have a New Year's resolution, though, which is this. When I go to my local coffee shop and the same old lady that takes about 20 minutes to decide what she wants starts annoying me, he said something else, I'm just going to let my anger explode. I've allowed my anger to build up inside me every time I see this lady. I'm just worried I'm going to turn into the Incredible Hulk. I'm going to run over her with my wheelchair and say a few choice words on the way out of the door and just yell, all I want is my damn coffee. Atif.
Okay, wait a second. I think
That's not AI.
That's
Atif.
not AI.
That's a Atif we loving. Yeah,
So that is authentic Atif that we just witnessed there.
that's more like it. That sounds like Atif.
But is that not a little troubling?
You know what's funny? I'm pretty
Please
sure.
don't run over her, Atif.
Please don't.
It is troubling, but he's brought up the same lady like numerous times.
Yes?
Yeah. He does not. He's got something. But I kind of get it. Like you're waiting in line, and there's always that one person that takes their time, and it's just like, come on. And Atif, as we know, is a very busy boy.
Well, I'm going to let you guys in on something.
Okay.
It's called mobile ordering.
Yes, this is a thing.
You just order it. You walk in, you grab it, you leave.
Maddie told me about this.
It's excellent.
Oh,
Starbucks.
you'd not heard about mobile ordering until he got you hip to it?
Until like I was on the hangout with Jasmine a month ago, maybe.
It's the way to do it.
Well, it's been around for a while.
I know.
I don't use it. I don't.
You you just put in your order, customize it if you want, set it up, order it. When you if you figure it out and you time it right, you walk in, it's already pre-done. You don't have to wait. Go. And even if you have to wait, you've already ordered it, so you're just waiting for them to make it and put it there, and then you grab and go. You don't have to wait in a line. You don't have to wait for that person that's taking forever. Mobile order. There's my thing, Atif. If you're tired of this, don't run her over. Don't just start mobile ordering.
And in true Awanak fashion, Trev, what that does is takes out human contact.
Oh, 100%. That's part of it.
Awanak, I think, in a perfect world, there would be no other humans. Fair?
Well, I'm fine with other humans. I just don't want to talk.
Well, not many.
I just want to talk to them.
Right. Well, okay. To my point, which is the interaction. I like it very limited and very controlled.
This is confession. So the other confession I would have is that, like, when I don't do drive-throughs. Maybe that's partly because I don't want to talk to someone. The other part is if I go into a fast food place, like I go into the places generally which have a kiosk. Like I will go to McDonald's more than any other place because then I could just click what I want and I don't have to go to the cashier. Or like I will quickly mobile order something so I don't walk up to a teller or like the front.
Can I share with you an experience I had at a national food retailer yesterday? So I went through drive-through and I'm coming back after doing this show. And I thought, God, I felt like something breakfasty, but I didn't want to go into a place and sit down and order. So I thought, you know what I'll do? And I pull up to the drive-in, the speaker, and you've got the menu. and there's tremendous feedback and there's incredible echo. So it's a confusing exchange between two people. I'm yelling, my window down, it's cold. I'm yelling into the speaker. The young woman, it's feeding back. She's not quite picking up. I pump fake on the order. I sort of place, I'll go with this, and then I'm like, no, take that off. I'll go with bagel, cream cheese, and hash brown. I know it's not an order that I'm particularly proud of, but I just had that feeling, give me a little hash brown here, bagel over here. I got myself a pseudo breakfast.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We got clarity. I pull up. Hands me one small package. Clearly looks like the bagel. I say, hash brown inside as well? She goes, oh, yeah, it's in there as well. I pull up. They've put the hash brown inside the bagel with the cream cheese. So I don't want to drive back around and go, no. What I meant was bagel and cream cheese, separate hash brown over here in one of those little pouches or whatever. I don't know why. I took a bite.
You tried it. I think
tried it and went, well, that's some kind of BS.
Oh.
Now, again, not a huge financial commitment of $5. I can okay, this one I've got to spike the ball and walk away from it, which I did. But yeah,
I'd be
bagel, cream cheese, and tuck a hash brown inside.
I actually kind of want to try it.
I don't know if I would have thought of that on my own.
Yeah, no, she should have known. That's like
I didn't help myself by not having clarity on the order at the front end of the transaction.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe it was busy. Was it busy too?
No, not at all. I was the only person there. I mean, I could have gone in, left my car running, and made it.
Not ideal.
There was lots of time.
Tango says, I refuse to do mobile ordering. This is taking low-income jobs away. At these places, it's not, though, because they're the same people that are making the drinks, so they're still making the drinks. Somebody still has to make those drinks. I go to Starbucks. All the people have the headset in, and they come up and they rotate turns going to the register to take the orders, but they're also all the ones making the drinks. And with Starbucks, I remember reading baristas at Starbucks love the fact that there is the mobile ordering because then it allows them to just make the drinks.
Oh, okay.
It makes it easier because
you.
they don't have to go and separate the lineup. The tickets are printing and they're getting the drinks, drive through and all that. They could just focus on making the drinks, and they don't have to worry about having to take and do the payment and all that. So that actually, for a lot of things with those ones, it's actually not taken away. It's actually to a degree making it a little bit more efficient. You got any confessions, Triff?
Yes, actually, I do.
Besides being you like getting electrocuted?
Yes, that is a confession of mine. Over the holidays, I actually made some notes on my phone. So for all the segments. So if I ever get annoyed, I got beef segment, or I'll just write something down.
Very smart.
And I also got a confession segment. So I've got 3 in the chamber, and I think I'm going to go with this one today. I don't know why I'm like this. I've always been like this. It's and it doesn't make sense, and it's actually a really, really bad habit of mine. But essentially, I'm terrible at paying things on time. I'm terrible. And it's never been an issue of not having the money. I just don't do it. I know my phone bill is a week over, and I'm just I'll just do it tomorrow. I don't know why. I always push it off. And so
you're
I
negligent.
and I'm kind of leaning towards that's going to be my New Year's resolution. And I'm, obviously I've got my basement suite now, and I've been on time with that, which I'm very proud of. And,
yeah, stay on time on the house payments.
Yeah, do that.
That one's kind of important.
That's a big one, and I'm 1 for 1. And today I'm actually gonna, it's the end of the month, so I'm gonna send it in today as well. And also shout out Luke. He's the one that installed my TELUS internet, which has just been amazing. So thank you again, Luke, for doing that. And I've also was really good on that. So far it's been good, but for my whole life, as long as I can remember, as soon as I started making payments, I just, I'll worry about it later. And it's and it's so annoying because you get the late fees, and I'm just why do I keep doing this every single time?
Okay, here's the thing. If you say you have the money, you could set up auto payments. So it'll immediately take the money. You could do it for a credit card.
Hold on, stop.
My Bell bill, because I'm with Bell, I set up my credit card.
Always be with Bell.
How could it's always a part of my heart, Dave?
Yes.
I've set up so that once a month it automatically just charges my credit card. And like I'm always good at paying off my credit card, so like I'm fine with that. But there's like my energy bill is through my like direct deposit. Like it takes the money right out of my account.
Auto withdrawal.
Like you could set that up so you don't even have to worry about it. It just happens.
Oh. Well.
As long as you have the money in the account.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll have to look into that. I didn't know that was the
Good
thing.
Lord.
So,
Trev,
I will get on that. Yes.
Why
Dave's gonna
don't
have a
you?
chat with you at the end of the show today.
Yes.
I'm just going to glide you off into the corner and press you up against the glass and just say, Trev, come on, man.
Yeah. I know. I need to be better. And it's just lazy. I'm just lazy when it comes to, and I just hate looking at money going away. Maybe that's why I do it. I just, there it goes.
That's why you set the auto deposit. Because then you just know what's going to happen and you don't have to actually send the money.
Yeah. Okay. I like that.
Look into the auto deposit or the withdrawals and all of that.
My dad just texts me, pay your bills on time. Okay.
Thank you, Dad.
Oh, thank you. Oh,
Thank you, Dad.
That was my dad, if you heard that. But yes, okay. I will be better. I know I can be better, and I don't know why.
And I know I will be better. Yes. And my pledge to you.
Yes.
We will try to keep, I will try to remember like a month from now. Be like, Trev, have you paid your bills?
Set up auto pay. I'm seeing it.
Yeah, set up the auto pay.
Okay.
Set up that auto pay.
That
It's
is the
just so
thing.
much easier.
Yes. Okay.
Oh, even Zach to come calling you up. Trev's living in the past.
Oh, come on. I'm an old soul, okay? I didn't know that was a thing.
Well, I know you look, the mustache gives you the
Fools a
appearance
few.
of being an early settler
Well, thank you.
in this land, but come on, man.
I still get ID'd, which is very frustrating every time I go out.
Isn't it like,
You have to, like under
What is it?
30.
yeah, it's like
Is it under 30?
they've raised the age
Yeah.
quite a bit.
If you
Because
look
wasn't
under,
it under, what was it initially when they
It's
brought
like
in that-
25.
I think it was
Initially, it
25,
was
yeah.
25. If you looked under 25 or under, they would ID you.
Right.
yeah, it's
And of course,
Confessions.
from my era,
I-
we were, I was like, they're IDing me. Well, you are 17.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair. Confessions, as a bartender, I was terrible also for IDing people. I didn't like it.
Don't put yourself in a best fire, Trev.
How long were you a tender of bars?
Probably like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, right out of college, in college still.
All at BP, or were you kind of moved
Boston
around?
Pizza, yep. Boston Pizza back home, and then Kingsway here in Edmonton. So yeah, that was Confessions. That's my Confessions.
That's Confessions for Spectrum Rental. I do need to get to That Hurts for James H. Brown, Alberta Injury Lawyers. If you've been injured in an accident, go to jameshbrown.com. The heavy hitters of injury law. This hurts for the San Francisco 49ers. But you brought it up to me. The hooks and ladder play from yesterday.
Hook and ladder, baby.
The Detroit Lions, 14-7 49ers. They then throw, if you don't know what a hooks and ladder play is, receiver catches it, immediately ladders it to one of the other receivers who runs around. And not only did the Lions execute it, they executed for a touchdown.
They did.
They returned it all the way. So if you're a 49ers fan, that hurts that you watch that hooks and ladders play happen against you. But if you're anyone else, you love that. It's a play, we don't see it, I think, enough.
No, it's rarely used.
And I've never seen it go bad. I'm trying to recall like a bad flick where all of a sudden it's a fumble or something like that. Have
like
you? Where they've messed it up completely.
transfer.
Yeah.
I don't
where
know.
Because otherwise, like either you get tackled right away or their other receiver maybe like they'd only like gain a yard or something. But I've never seen it where all of a sudden the ball's on the ground and you're like, what a stupid play. Why would you even attempt something like this?
Well, I mean, anytime you are throwing the ball, you're more prone, or at least, you're susceptible to things going wrong, right? But no, I've seen lots of those plays that get stopped dead in their tracks. They just read it. Everyone's where they should be to cover it. But yeah, last night was a really cool play.
Yeah, so 49ers fans, that hurts. It also hurts season. If you're a 49ers fan, your season, that hurts. Rough season. A lot of injuries. It was supposed to be
the end for
Lions.
Shanahan there? Because they've had great success, and then they've had
I think
the inverse.
I think the issue, too many injuries. So I think you got to give it another shot. There was some rumblings. It was floated out. I think it was Herm Edwards of all people that floated it out there. Maybe I got the name of that one wrong. Would the Bears look at trying to trade for Kyle Shanahan? He's an offensive guy. Could he do some things with Caleb Williams? if you're at a time for the 49ers and you are actually maybe like, hey, maybe it's time, would you look at maybe getting some assets and move on from Kyle Shanahan that way? And would Kyle Shanahan be interested in the Bears in that way as well?
God, there's just so much work to do in Chicago.
I also think if you're the 49ers, you've had, like, you were in the Super Bowl just recently.
Yes.
You stick, like, who's better? Who's better? Don't attempt anything different. Don't try to make a change here. Don't try to outthink yourself. Like, to think you're smarter.
Okay, well, that's almost impossible in the NFL.
Football. Yes. Well, but again, like, look at some of the Pittsburgh Steelers are a team that has had 3 coaches since like 64. Mm-hmm. And a couple of years ago, they thought about maybe getting rid of Mike Tomlin. They chose against it. And look what he's done. The guy still does not have a losing record in the National Football League. Kyle Shanahan has blown a couple of Super Bowls in the end. But at least you're in a Super Bowl.
Yeah, but he got there.
Exactly. So that's where, like, if you're the 49ers, I don't think it should be. He should be stayed. Smithy Welder is saying that it's announced that he's isn't going anywhere. I don't care that it's been announced. Things can change. Nick Saban famously went to a microphone and said, I will not be coaching the Alabama football team. And the next week was introduced as the head coach of the Alabama football team.
Correct.
So things could easily change rather quickly.
If an NFL opportunity presented itself, you know, that I know Belichick is committed to college. Do you not think he'd be out of that college contract?
I forgot how it goes. The buyout for Bill Belichick significantly drops in like June, not June of 26, like June of this year. Like he could almost never coach a game in UNC if the right opportunity comes. He could bow out and a team would, like, it's a nothing buyout.
It would not surprise me in the least if just like, let's just go Jacksonville decides, okay, he's the guy to lead us out of the wilderness.
The flip side is he may have gotten the word that he's not getting a job, and that's why he jumped to the NCAA.
Oh, I don't doubt he did, but that was then.
Yeah, very fair point. Very fair point. Lots can change. Lots could move. We're running late. We got to get to a sports update for YouTube, Trev. In the next hour, we've got an orange and blue breakfast for GCL Diesel. We got the Marmot Basin snow report. We've got the wrap for William Huff featuring the A&W text of the day. Get your text into 780-218-9999. We got 3 questions too many. I actually still need one more question for 3 questions too many. And kind of easy trivia. Text in right now if you want to play kind of easy trivia. Just a heads up again. This isn't recent kind of easy trivia. It dates the entire year of 2024. You'll understand once people hear it, but it will date the entire 2024. Text pick me to 780-218-9999. After a sports update, Trev will pick someone. This is the Nielsen Show with Lieutenant Eric, presented by South Fork Chevrolet. Matt Iwanek, Dave Jamieson, YouTube Trev with you on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports. Here's Trev with a sports update.
Yesterday in the NHL, just 3 games, which saw the Panthers defeat the Rangers 5-3. The Jets shut out the Predators 3-0, and the Seattle Kraken 5-2 over the Utah Hockey Club. The Oilers are back in action for their final game of the year tonight. Edmonton looks to get back in the win column against the Utah Hockey Club. You can join Tom Gazzola for the GCL Diesel pre- and post-game shows. Coverage starts at 6 right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. 12 other games in the NHL tonight, including an all-Canadian matchup between the Flames and Canucks. The Canadians take on the Golden Knights, and the Maple Leafs host the Islanders. To the World Juniors we go. Yesterday, just 2 games, both going to overtime, which saw Slovakia edge out Kazakhstan 5-4, and Latvia beating the Germans 4-3. Tonight in the Juniors, Team Canada takes on the longtime rival Team USA. Puck drop for this one at 5:30. 3 other games in the juniors today, including Czechia will take on Sweden, Finland will go up against Latvia, and Switzerland plays Kazakhstan. In the association, 6 games tonight, including the Raptors going up against the Celtics. Toronto will look to snap their 10-game losing streak. Tip-off for this one goes at 1 o'clock. And to finish things off, Week 17 caps off seeing the Lions get past the 49ers by the score of 40-34. Take your career to the next level with Clayburn Services. They're hiring all positions, including journeyman bricklayers and apprentices of all levels. Take advantage of their outstanding mentorship program and work with peace of mind knowing they are an industry leader in safety. Visit www.clayburnservices.com or make it easy and give Jeff a call at 780-910-6728.
Big shot off this stick of mine. I keep those lanes wide open all the time. Drysidle setting up shop, McDavid's flying. I'll hit the twine when I walk the line. As sure as new G is slick and Kane is tough. We're going all the way this year, enough is enough. And we can play 'em straight or we can play 'em rough. I'm feeling fine when I walk the line. You know I shoot that puck so very, very hard. The name on the back of my jersey says Bouchard. And we're gunning for first place, not a wild card. I'll hit the twine when I walk the line. Not on luck, and it's gonna get real when they drop that puck, and we won't be done until we hoist the cup. I'll hit the twine when I walk the line. I got a big shot off this stick of mine. I keep those lanes wide open all the time. Drysidle setting up shop, McDavid's flying. I'll hit the twine when I walk the line.
Welcome back to the Nielson Show with Lieutenant Eric Manawanek, Dave Jamieson with you here. Presented by South Fort Chevrolet. We got a 2025 Silverado Custom with payments as low as $199 bi-weekly. Check them out, southfortchev.ca. We're live in the Popeyes, Louisiana Kitchen studio. Be sure to text us, 780-218-9999. It is the Paris Jewelers inbox. Looking for text of the day for ANW. So get those texts in right now. Actually, I'm going to put Teef back in the mix. Once again, with the one about him running over a lady with his wheelchair and
gets
stuff.
Back in the mix.
I think he's back in the mix.
Terribly honest and very revealing.
Well, it was during confessions.
Yeah, no, yes,
very. That's
okay. Yes,
that's what we
taken.
want.
But I thought that was. He took us to a dark place.
We will get to Joaquin Gage later in this hour. Orange and Blue Breakfast, this Marmot Basin ski report, the wrap for William Huff, 3 questions for Park Mazda. If you have any questions for 3 questions, let us know. Text them in or send them into the nasty chat. But we got to get to Kind of Easy Trivia, which is brought to you by Mr. Mike's.
Let the festivities begin, Maddie. You're invited to Mr. Mike's Fiesta Fusion. Celebrate the flavors of their new Mexican and Spanish-inspired features like Patatas Bravas, the Fusion Feast Platter, Chili Lime Ribeye, feature drinks, and more. Plus, $1 from every feature entree sold will help nourish a hungry child through a local breakfast program in this community. Join the Fiesta Fusion at your local Mr. Mike's. Eat locally, enjoy casually.
Trev? He's just a pro. It's like you've done those before.
You got a really good voice.
Who do we have on the line for Kind of Easy Trivia?
For the last one of the year. Tim is going to give it a go.
Tim.
Hit it, Timmy.
How are you today, Tim? Have you played Kind of Easy Trivia before?
Yes, I have. Happy New Year, guys.
Happy New Year. I'm going to just guess because it is Kind of Easy Trivia. You've won before on Kind of Easy Trivia, too. You're not going for some sort of redemption or anything.
Yeah, I've been victorious, yes.
Perfect. So you know how this works. I will ask you the 5 questions. You need to get 3 of 5 right to win the GC to Mr. Mike's. The ticker will start once I finish the first question. And just a reminder, once again, the 2 things, Will brought this up last week. You can pass. That is something we'll come back to the question. But this does span 2024. So be ready for that. Are you ready, Tim?
I'm ready.
Trev, are you ready?
I was born ready.
Dave, are you ready?
You've sort of, sure.
Perfect. I'm ready. Okay, here we go, Tim. Who won the Super Bowl in 2024?
Chiefs.
Who won the NBA title in 2024?
Boston Celtics.
Who won the Stanley Cup in 2024?
Florida Panthers.
Who won the World Series in 2024?
Los Angeles Dodgers.
And who won the Grey Cup in 2024?
Oh, geez, that was Toronto?
There you go. There you go. You got it. We ended 5 for 5.
Oh, is that dirty?
You know,
This
when the
is
legs
not just
wobble
a
onto
dream,
this
it's a
one.
wet dream of orgasmic proportions.
Oh, is that dirty?
Frustration sets in and the emotion goes out, and then you just start playing by yourself.
Oh, is that dirty?
You cannot come to my house. No, 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 not today.
You cannot come to my house. No, 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 not today.
Tim, ending 2024 on a right note, nailing it for Kind of Easy Trivia there. I got the Celtics. To me, it was like the Celtics was one of the easiest ones for him. Boom. Like,
Yeah, there was
Celtics,
a
like
high
nothing.
level of confidence.
Absolutely. I thought maybe he was going to pass on the Panthers. Like, just to be like, we're in
Too
Edmonton.
easy. Let's wave it off.
But also, like, I'm not even going to mention that they won type thing. There was a slight, I thought maybe he'd go there, but he threw out the Panthers and then Dodgers and then the Toronto. Toronto. Got it. Well done, Tim.
It was like Roger Daltrey stuttering in My Generation. When I'm listening to Tim go through that, that's like a guy waiting for his pitch. You know, you step out of the box, you take a couple, and then you go, watch this.
Crushes it.
Yeah.
Absolutely crushes it. So we end 5 for 5. Phil from a balcony in Banff. Of course, it's the CFL that almost trips him up. Oh, Canada. Tim's just upset that the Edmonton Elks just aren't getting there. That's what we'll go with. He got it in the end, though. He still got it in the end. So 5 for 5. Tim is off to Mr. Mike's. Let's get to 3 questions too many. For Park Mazda, check out their demo vehicle sale. This is,
okay. Do you want me to take that one too?
Well, no, you can't. Check them out, parkmazda.ca for details. Mitch, he'd have better liners if he was hosting than I do. There's some ad-lib usually with this one. I'm not good at ad-lib, so I was going to read what was on here.
Oh, I see. Yeah, their liners are, may I, just as a radio veteran?
Well, you know who does their liners?
Well, Nielson. No?
Eric does those live.
Oh, that's right. He does
Eric
those,
crushes them in the moment. I'm not good at ad-libbing like Eric is. Park Mazda, your dealer for life.
They are terrific.
That's all like Eric.
Well.
He's that fantastic.
Oh,
but
yes.
You know that.
Yes, I do. They are really good.
I'm going to make a quick.
They're very smart.
I'm going to make a quick edit to this one.
Okay, you do that.
Because that needs to go away. Are you guys ready for 3 questions too many?
Always.
I told you one yesterday. We'll see if you guys remember it. If you have a New Year's resolution for the Edmonton Elks, what would it be?
A New Year's resolution?
Mm-hmm. We did for the Oilers yesterday. Today for the Elks.
I'm just trying to playoffs, home playoff game.
Think that's possible right now, without knowing how free agency is going to go, with what they've done.
Well, I look at Calgary. I think BC with the replacement of Rick Campbell out there. Yeah, Nathan Rourke. Okay, he's got to be better than he was when he returned from the NFL. To your point, not knowing what Ed Hervey's going to do in free agency. Now, you say New Year's resolution. I think that's something they have to strive for.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they've got to get Yeah, I mean, we're going to go baby steps here. It's the CFL. You can get good quickly. It's doable. You can reverse the fortunes of a team.
They were 2 wins away from being in the playoffs last year.
Correct.
If they didn't blow it, we looked at just kicking. If they had a little bit better kicking in 2 games, they would have won 2 more games. They would have beat BC and knocked BC out of the playoffs.
Yes.
That's how close they were to the playoffs last year.
It is doable in this league.
Trav, you have anything? Even off?
Yes, I do, actually.
What is yours?
You guys had kind of mentioned it in the first hour one there, I guess. But being in the city, obviously, I've been in here for 2 years now, and I've only ever heard stories of just a packed game. A packed game, like a full sellout stadium. I'm not saying, it might take some time, but who knows if they get into playoff contention, and that's kind of what, JMO was alluding to. That's what I'd like to see. But with that comes fans in the building, and I want to see as many fans as possible. I've heard the stories from all the tailgates I was at this year, and you're kind of starting to see the buzz. The buzz is, it's getting back, but with all the changes that they made in the offseason, I really like the direction of this team, as do a lot of people. And I think a lot of that comes with, just bringing some fans in the stadium. So I've heard about, the upper half. Obviously, we talked about that as well. But if I could watch a game in the upper half, that would be so cool. And is it this year? I don't know, but probably not. But I'd love to see that. I just want that stadium just packed.
For that to happen, I think they need
they'd
to be
have to
like
go on a stretch.
Well, I think they'd have to be like
heater.
3 or 4-0 in a row, like to start the season. Like they're a 4-0 football team to start. And maybe those Labor Day tickets start selling a little bit, at the beginning of August, late July. People start buying them. Maybe there could be that push. Maybe maybe we push it from here. Let's push for the rematch to be sold out.
Yeah.
But as we talked about earlier, it has to be done early in advance. But that's how it'd have to be. They have to get off to a good start.
Yeah.
Which then I could go with the 2 resolutions for this team this year. One is that they have to get that first win in their first game, largely. Like I've already gone out there and
looked at
said
the schedule, but I'm assuming it's out. It's a game in the West or a Western opponent, I should say.
And I would assume on the road because they've been home against the Riders for the last 2 years.
Yes.
So I'm assuming maybe this year they'll be a road team to start. And I've said for the season, the long season, they can get away with a loss early. They could get away, I think, with being 1-2 or something. I don't think they can go longer than 0-3.
No, they cannot.
But I think especially with Trey and the buzz around this team, if they could just start off on the right foot, getting that first win,
they have to.
That will get that energy going, especially if they're a road team. They go on the road, pick up that first win. There'll be that buzz for the home opener. Oh, maybe there's a team here. Maybe there's something happening here, and get more people to show up. The other thing is I want to see a commitment to Trey in terms of he's still a developing young quarterback. I know they brought in Cody Fajardo.
Which is a good move because by all accounts, and I don't know McLeod Bethel Thompson as a person, I wasn't in the room like our friend Hernan was, that Cody Fajardo is by all accounts someone who is comfortable enough in himself, knows where he's at in his career, and would be better suited to be the mentor.
I see.
And ride in the sidecar. There was Marcus Mariota in Washington is, by all accounts, a really supportive backup quarterback. Has been a starter, but is not that anymore. But is doing all he can to be right there to help. That's what they've gone and addressed with Cody Fajardo.
And with Trey, for me, it's just I want him. There's going to be mistakes. There's going to be bad football games. He can't be worried about losing his job right away. Obviously, if this team's 0-6, he's probably not going to remain as the starter. There probably will be a change to Cody Fajardo or something like that. Totally understand those type of situations. If they're 2-2 and he goes and plays a bad game, in game 5 or whatever, but he can't be worried that all of a sudden his job's now on the line right away. They have to let him breathe a little. They got to let him develop a little bit, and that's as a starter as well. So that's the other resolution. I hope they just give Trey a little bit of that time. Like last year, it was quick pulls at times, or he didn't get in too late. So he just needs to be that. He needs to I'm sure he feels confident that Ed's giving them a contract, and the contract that they gave Cody Fajardo says that Trey's the number one guy. Yeah. And Mark Killam's probably told me, you're the number one guy. And we all know he's the number one going into camp. I think the action, though, will speak louder to Trey. That if he has that bad drive. He's not worried that all of a sudden, oh, Cody's warming up, he's coming in. That's what I think will just help make Traven a better quarterback, not having to just always look over his shoulder what the coach is doing.
Well, and there was, again, by all accounts, and having talked to people who were there and still are in some cases, under this leadership, they are going to, however possible, eliminate noise and chaos from within. And that speaks to many things, but I think in the area of Trey Ford, it's going to be better tutelage, better support, and I'm not just talking about a better offensive line in front of them, that they have a good offensive line, but it is a commitment to doing this in a methodical, thoughtful fashion, and not, as you say, the quick pulls that we saw previously under both Jones and Jarius. I don't think that they they didn't believe in Jones's case.
Second question for 3 questions to many for Park Mazda. Do you have a favorite moment of this past year, 2024?
Favorite moment?
I'll let you guys think. Mine is actually going to Atlanta with my dad to watch Canada take on Argentina in the opener of Copa America, where I got to watch Messi in person. And I'm also fortunate enough to be able to say that I didn't see Messi score. No. Everyone sees Messi score. Of course. I saw our goalie, Maxim Crépeau, rob Messi a number of times in that match. Canada ultimately lost 2-0. I didn't see Canada go score in that, but I watched Messi get stopped by the Canadian goalkeeper a number of times. And Canada actually, it was a competitive match. They were great. And I got to see Messi live and in person while cheering for our nation, our boys.
It was pretty cool. Is that in the Mercedes-Benz?
Yeah, a great stadium. I saw James Duthie on the flight home. He was coming because Game 6 was the next day. And he was on my flight home. So I got a nice little chat with James. I hadn't spoken to him since we were
since our time.
So it was great, being able to see James, but being at Mercedes-Benz to go watch Canada, Argentina, Messi, that's probably top moment for 2024.
I know, as you were talking there, my top moment, in the sports realm was the events, plural, that I worked on for the Elks for their 75th season.
Great events, too.
You were there at the dinner, and that's something I... was, and I'm sure will remain probably for a very long time, a professional highlight to be involved in that dinner, writing it, working with Evan Dahm. We collaborated on that. We were co-chairs of that. I mean, it was the largest reunion in club history. And we had the dinner, which was sold out at the convention center, and to see so many great players come back. And there was a point in the night, and I didn't hear it directly, but pick this up later. One of the young Elks players, after seeing, Warren Moon, Matt Dunnigan, Damon Allen, Tracy Ham, Ricky Ray, and Mike Riley, all in the room together, having watched all the videos that we produced, to introduce those guys, and turned to somebody at the table and said, "Damn, are you telling me all of those guys were here in Edmonton?" It was like, yeah. And it reminded me, and I'm sure it reminded the people there in attendance, just how good that franchise has been for so very long. Yes, I understand the here and now is not what they wanted to be. Yes, I understand that the 1960s were not good at all. But the number of players who are Mount Rushmore equivalent in the Canadian Football League. And then to go to the lunch on the Friday, and I have a picture of all of those guys standing around the Grey Cup. And you go, wow, I can't believe we ever lost. That was very cool.
Trev?
Oh, this is a great question. It's there's so much. I can't pick just one thing. I was telling JMO yesterday after the show. He's like, "So how's it going? You liking it?" I'm like, "Yeah, this is without a doubt been the best year of my life. So many cool things, and a large part due to EST. I'm talking about the Esties. I'm talking about the EST Golf Classic. I got to go to my first playoff game for the Oilers, which was awesome. Shout out to Dash in the Park, Game 3, Western Conference Final. Just such an amazing game. And then I see him in the nasty chat right now. Tom Gazzola chimes in. But being able to go to the Oilers game with him, being part of the media, the press box, see the ins and outs of everything, talk to all the bigs, like that was so cool to be a part of. And then, obviously Tommy, I watched him quite a bit growing up on Oilers TV, as I said. I'd fall asleep watching Tom Gazzola, which is pretty funny. But there's so many things to pick. So I'd probably I'd maybe just stick with that one then, just going in the press box with Tommy. But this was the best year of my life. Like, honestly, it was so cool. So many cool things. I loved it all.
So wonderful. It's a good year, 2024.
That is heartwarming to hear it from, because given our respective time in the industry, you're a lot younger than me, but, to hear Trev, who is just starting out in this, get those experiences and to be a little bit in awe of it all. It reminds you of kind of where, what it's like on the front end of the journey.
Yeah. Like I talked about it on the oil stream yesterday, but just hearing the stories of, being in Edmonton and just in the 80s of what it was like. I'm just like, I'm just a kid with, I was a fan, just the biggest fan ever. And I'm just like, wow, like this is so cool. So to be a part of the playoff run this year obviously wasn't the outcome that Edmonton would have liked, but just like after some of the wins, just going out with my brother, showing him the city, the cars just honking like hours after, and just being in the heart of Edmonton, it was just the coolest thing.
Last question. I don't know what to any resolutions for 2025 for either of you? Or for any nasty out there? Do any of you have a resolution? Anything you want to accomplish in 2025?
For me, stay healthy. But let me turn it to EST. It's not a resolution necessarily, but it's a hope, for you guys. And I come in here at this first. I've been in the hangout before, but to sit here and do this show and hang out with Maddie, who were dear friends, to see how you guys have evolved this from an idea. And I remember those first meetings with Dusty, and after things ended abruptly at 1260. And then to see where it is today. And although I'm not part of this, I feel like I'm a charter member because I was there at the beginning and seeing you guys and all the work. I mean, to put together, it's not a podcast, it's a digital radio station. And I love this medium. I love whatever form whatever you want to call this, the idea of communicating with your voice and having conversations with listeners and insiders and all of that, and to see what you guys have built it to is really rewarding. Just to feel that and see the community you built around this that have grown up. Some of them have come over from 1260, and many of them are brand new, and they're knowing you only as EST. It's very cool. Take the time to acknowledge that and at least absorb it.
Trev, you got resolutions? Anything you want for 2025? Accomplish?
I want to start going back to the gym. Hit the gym. I like to. I usually do this.
No, Trev, don't do that, Trev.
You usually start strong, and I started strong last year. Everything was going good, and then you kind of just take a day off, and then that day's a week.
It's the one, yes. It's that first day.
It's that one, and then you just kind of, so you lapse, right?
No days off.
No days off.
No days off, Trev.
Go back to the gym. I want to get that started. Have my membership. It's all ready to go.
Are you paying it on time, though?
Yes. That is actually auto. They just take it out of my account. I don't have a say.
So you know about it.
Yeah, so you are aware.
I didn't set that one up. They did.
You had to have set it up. Unless, is it from your credit card or is it?
No, that's my debit.
You have to set that up.
I don't.
There's no other way that they could get your debit machine.
I never would have done it.
You would have had to.
What has happened
There's
to you,
no other
Trev?
way they could get into your account and take your money.
You're surrounded by wires and cords and screens, and you can't do auto withdrawal and set that up.
I don't think I did that. Someone must have. Not me. But then another one, I'm just under 6K subs on my channel. I think going for 10,000 subs. That's a New Year's resolution for my channel.
Lofty goal.
Catch up on EST and pass EST maybe at some point here.
No. Don't know about that, but we'll see.
I just want to get back going on the golf course. Finally, this year, committing to getting on the course, golfing.
Are you fully back from the rotator cuff?
I am labrum surgery. I am now past a year.
Okay.
I did go golf twice last year, I believe.
Okay.
So that is now the goal, is to be committed to actually going out and enjoying what I always love to do, which is just going golfing. And I think I'm going to get new clubs this year, new me, new arm,
new labrum,
new clubs, new Matty. That's what I'm looking forward to in 2025. Is getting back on the golf course. I'm not touching a sim. I got to actually do a little bit more work on my rehab. I've slacked a little bit on that, so I got to get back to doing that a little bit more. But I'm not touching a sim or anything. It'll be the first. I'll hit a golf course, maybe the ranch. That'll be the first time I golf 2025.
Go to the ranch. Be in the warm embrace of Murray and the gang.
And
over
it's go time at that point.
Sure.
It's go time. Ethan's saying businesses set up auto withdrawal from people's accounts all the time. YTT would not have that set up. Have to set that up. But from a banking account, they have access to your banking account. I always thought with a banking account, you'd have to give them that info. Credit card, one thing. You give them the credit card, they would take that, it would set up.
You used to give them a void check to set it up for your utility, and it may be slightly different. I don't know.
Because they would have to know the bank institution, the transit number. They would have to know all those things. I don't know how they'd be able to get the bank from that. But Ethan's saying a little differently. I'll have to read into that.
Okay.
But there's my 2025.
Please do, and then get back to me.
Let's put this under the umbrella statement of, Trev, it's doable.
Yeah, you just got to go get that done.
It sounds doable.
Yeah.
I do want to get into the Paris Jewelers inbox because we did get this text. Hey guys, just want to say a huge thank you to all of you for the trip of a lifetime. My wife Stephanie and I and myself enjoyed every minute of this trip, not mentioning the amazing ride in the sick rental car. Sincerely, Chris, who was our winner for the flyaway to LA. He went to the Clippers, Rams, Oilers game, and he sent some pictures. So him and his wife fit into a dome. Him and his wife at the Rams game. He's in a Rams hat and a Rams jersey. So Chris, I don't know if you're listening right now. I'll have to text them after. But if you are you a Rams fan? Because that's awesome then. That's even better. Or did you just pick those up because you went to go see the Rams? Him in the tailgate, and then them at the Ducks game.
Rams got to get back to their original uniforms, by the way. Or not original, but
these ones?
The ones they're famous for. Let's see it.
These ones?
Oh, he's got the legit.
Yeah, he's got the legit.
That's the one. That's the one.
I'm glad that you had a good time. I'm glad it happens. I was worried that on the 26th was this flight. I went to the flight website to make sure it landed, and you don't want the delays or anything like that. So it all went and it all went off. So Chris was our flyaway to LA winner, which was at the time it was presented by the 780. I'm so glad he had a good time.
Did I ever tell you that when I tried to go to Indian Wells for the tournament and the plane was seized by a hedge fund? Yes. We were grounded. And it was like, what do you mean? This isn't like a mechanical thing. It's more than mechanical. Yeah.
We got to get to a sports update when we come back. I don't think Gager is logged in.
Yes, he is.
Is he? Mm-hmm. Oh, Gager's there?
He's not only logged in, he's locked in.
Oh, then I was running a little late because I thought we didn't have Gager yet, so I'm wasting Gager's time. Apologies, Gager. We'll get to a sports update and we come back. Joaquin Gage, Matt Awanek, Dave Jameson with you here on the Nielsen Show, presented by Southport Chevrolet. Here's Trev with a sports update.
Yesterday in the NHL, just 3 games which saw the Panthers defeat the Rangers 5-3, the Jets shut out the Predators 3-0, and the Seattle Kraken 5-2 over the Utah Hockey Club. The Oilers are back in action for their final game of the year tonight. Edmonton looks to get back in the win column against the Utah Hockey Club. You can join Tom Gazzola for the GCL Diesel pre- and post-game shows. Coverage starts at 6 right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. 12 other games in the NHL tonight, including an all-Canadian matchup between the Flames and Canucks. The Canadians take on the Golden Knights, and the Maple Leafs host the Islanders. To the World Juniors we go. Yesterday, just 2 games, both going to overtime, which saw Slovakia edge out Kazakhstan 5-4, and Latvia beating the Germans 4-3. Tonight in the juniors, Team Canada takes on a longtime rival, Team USA. Puck drop for this one goes at 5:30. 3 other games in the juniors today. Czechia will take on Sweden. Finland will go up against Latvia. And Switzerland plays Kazakhstan. In the association, 6 games tonight, including the Raptors going up against the Celtics. Toronto will look to snap their 10-game losing streak. Tip-off for this one goes at 1 o'clock. And to finish things off, Week 17 caps off seeing the Lions get past the 49ers by the score, 40-34. Boxing Week savings are coming to Sit and Sleep. Starting December 14th, all Canadian-made custom sofas, sectionals, and bedrooms will be on sale. Save up to 50% on select floor samples, 20% on home accents, and more. Plus, make no payments until 2026 interest-free. And make any purchase over $999 during the sale and receive free local white glove delivery with full setup and installation. Don't miss the massive Boxing Week furniture and mattress sales event starting December 14th at Sit and Sleep in South Edmonton Common next to Planet Fitness.
The Nielson Show featuring Lieutenant Eric. Only on Edmonton Sports Talk.
Matawanek, Dave Jameson, The Tube. It's the Nielson Show with Lieutenant Eric, presented by South Fort Chevrolet, live from the Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen Studios. We're still looking for, Latif is the leader, clubhouse leader for the A&W text of the day that we'll give away in the wrap for William Huff. Those go into our Parish Rulers inbox at 780-218-9999. That's the clubhouse leader. I said I don't want to keep him waiting. Oh, so Trev, you let me know. Give me the thumbs up when you have Gager all framed up properly. And we'll bring in Joaquin Gage, who's presented by Pro-Am Sports. Your locally owned sports memorabilia and apparel specialist. Gear for game day, Oilers jerseys, headwear, hoodies, and hats from Fanatics New Era, 47 Mitchell and Ness in stock now, located in Edmonton at the corner of St. Albert Trail, 128th Ave, online at proamsports.ca. Joaquin Gage joins us now. Gage, you're with Matthew Awanek and Dave Jameson. Good morning to you. You were stuck with me later today on Two Guys and a Goalie as well, and you are also part of EST Afternoons with Hernan Salas. How are things this morning for you, Gager?
Good. JMO, good to see you, buddy.
It's good to see you, my friend.
It's been a pleasure listening to you in the mornings here again. So thanks for making my mornings a little bit brighter than they normally are. But December 31st. This is what amazes me as I get to different vintages. The fact of the speed of each year now. I was saying how every year it seems to be things change more and more. My son has flown out of the coop and has gone out on his own. So that's a whole thing I'm dealing with right now. Sometimes just grabbing my dog for a cry every once in a while in the corner, and everyone asking what's going on. I blame that I just haven't dusted in a while in the house. It's a little dusty, but no, it's kind of cool because with that and everything else, and a new page turning, and of course joining EST this year and adding more to my plate has just made it even more enjoyable.
Okay, how many times? How long has the sun now been out? I know you said he came to get a shovel and ice pick one day. How many other times has he had to come home to grab something or get some food or something like that?
Well, I don't think he came yesterday. So that was the first day. But he also thought he had to work in the morning, and he gets up quite early and then got to work and they didn't no one was at work. So he didn't know he had a couple days off. So I think I'm going to guess probably yesterday was probably a skip the dishes order and lots of hours on the PS5. I'm going to guess.
That sounds like a lovely day.
As
an early 20-year-old and all of that. Do you have, I know because later today on EST Afternoons, I know Hernan was telling you guys yesterday, you guys will be doing resolutions and all of that. But we're just looking back a little bit on 2024. It's something stand out to you over this past year that was maybe one of your favorite memories of the year? I
mean, the whole year with you guys was interesting. I mean, last year, but the whole Edmonton Oilers run, how far we went into the summer, the partnerships that we were cultivating with the Elks, the Stingers, the Riverhawks, I think was pretty cool. I thought that we were doing a great job with some of these local sports, getting more local people in and just putting an eye on things that aren't always on the main group, which basically is the Edmonton Oilers, obviously in this town. But that was quite enjoyable. And you know, it was neat for me to be around making new friends. I think that was kind of I think is what I'm going to take from 2024. I mean, I consider all you guys my friends to begin with, but just the amount of time that I was able to spend more with you and laugh. I mean, I would hate for everyone to kind of see what goes on at EST, because don't get me wrong, it's an unbelievable work environment, but the fact that if everyone just were to watch us and how many times we're laughing and having a good time, it's basically a clubhouse, right? It's a clubhouse that we all show up at and have a good time.
It's a tree fort.
Yeah, it's our tree fort.
It's a tree fort.
It is a tree fort, just like the hangout icon, right? And basically that's what we're doing.
You made Trev go a couple times as you were saying that there. So,
well, everything's good except him. But that's
you were waiting a moment before. Okay, now guys, you haven't asked me yet about the negatives about EST, and you were going to launch into it. I know.
Well, you weren't here not too long ago. Gager called Trev. And how did this go? He asked. Trev just didn't respond to you, or what was the issue? Because I was with Eric that day, and it.
Yeah, this is my bane right here of the year. Trev decided to move closer to me, and more importantly, closer to one of my drinking holes. And I reached out to Trev to join me at this place. And you know what? When people don't answer the phone, they see the number. Like they're screening. I give my mom crap about this all the time. She screens. She picks up when I start talking on the answering machine, which she still has, which is crazy.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
And so I know that Trev saw the number and just decided, you know what? I'm just going to stay at home and play my, I think the kids call it chell, and tried to, win a Stanley Cup by himself with his video gaming system, and would rather do that than hang out with me on an evening at the local establishment and have a few frosty suds.
That's what. Yeah.
That's not at all how it went, Gager. I was doing dishes, and I didn't feel the best, and then I went to bed.
Call him back. You didn't call him back.
Yeah, and didn't call me back. Texted me hours later, making sure that there was no possible way for the meetup.
Sorry, bud. Just getting back to you now. Yeah.
Gager, we got an Oiler game tonight. Oilers and Utah. How do you think they'll bounce back after their weekend out in Los Angeles?
Oh, I think it'll be a different type of game. The motto in the room is finish the year off strong, right? And of course, the magnifying glass gets out when you see a couple performances like we saw over the weekend that we've dissected, I think, enough. But on the whole, the month of December has been, I would say, a turning point for this Edmonton Oilers team. Are there things to improve on? Yes. Were those areas kind of magnified over these last two games? I think so, but they were playing at a very high level for the better part of December. I think they'll get back to that tonight. And again, you just want to, it's New Year's Eve, finish the year strong, make sure you send, the 18,000 plus people at Rogers home happy and have a good celebration tonight.
Gage, the thing I found interesting of those two games in California was, the LA Kings are a very good team. They leaned on the Oilers, and against Anaheim, who are not in the weight class of the Oilers got outworked 5-on-5. Is that a fair assessment, snapshot of those two?
I would say so. the one line there, with Fogle showed something, and I mean those guys had really good games too. You know, that's going to be tough. I always look at it through the eye of, okay, who wins in a 7-game series? You know, that's what shows the true test of a team, and it's close with the Kings. And that's probably going to be what we're going to see at round 1 again, and I'm looking forward to it again. I think it's an interesting matchup. The one thing, and we've talked about it in our little bullpen and things, I really think the game against the Florida Panthers outlined a blueprint of how to have success against the Edmonton Oilers. And that is a relentless forward check, and I mean, you could say this about any team, but they're just so good. And their forwards, when you have two of the best, you have to get on their defensemen, and you have to limit their time and space and make them do things with the puck that they're uncomfortable with. And I don't know if it's just the last few games, and you know, you always say it when you're on a streak, it's the last few games that the bad habits start creeping back into your game. But it just seems like a lot of other teams, when they see the backs of the Oilers defensemen going back to get the puck or being rushed, they're on them quick and making life difficult for them. And we saw that over the last few games, just uncharacteristic giveaways or decision makings with the puck that weren't happening, say, at the beginning of December. So that's what gives me pause about this team most. But over the next few months, we'll see what the GMs and if there's going to be a move to kind of solidify those areas of their game where they're going to need a bigger, stronger puck-moving defenseman. But as we know, those don't grow on trees.
Gager, we've got two guys and a goalie today. Me, you, Cass. EST Afternoons, you and Hernan. We will see you a little bit later here in the office.
Can't wait, boys.
There's Joaquin Gage, as I mentioned, of Two Guys and a Goalie in EST Afternoons. Two Guys and a Goalie, Tuesday, Thursdays, right here on the station. EST Afternoons every single day, 1 to 3, with him and Hernan Salas. We've got to get to the Orange and Blue Breakfast, which is brought to you by GCL Diesel, providers of the best diesel engine components around, from turbochargers to injectors, fuel pumps to sensors. They are the critical engine component experts, proud to serve the Edmonton and Northern Alberta area for over 50 years. Oilers and the Utah Hockey Club. Oilers practice yesterday. It was McDavid in between Nugent Hopkins and Hyman, Draisaitl centering Podkolzin and Arvidsson, Henrique in between Janmark and Brown, Ryan between Perry and Kapanen. Jeff Skinner was an extra skater as of yesterday, so it's looking like good chance he will be scratched today. The Edmonton Oilers, for their game day, they sent out a little bit of an update. The practice is an optional morning skate today. They've updated it now, so I don't know we'll get much from practice. Defensively, Ekholm, Bouchard, Nurse, Stetcher, Kulak, Embersim, Skinner looks to be getting the start as the Oilers close out 2024. Oilers, Utah, we said 7 o'clock, which means 6 o'clock will be the GCL Diesel Ulstrom pregame show. Tommy, Hernan, and Cass will get you set for that one. You'd want Utah, what's the name you're putting?
I like the Outlaws.
Outlaws.
Yeah, they narrowed it, I think, to 6 names, right? I believe
Yeti
they did a
fan
vote, and then they whittled it down, and they all of that stuff that you would expect. And I don't know why I care about the name of the Utah Hockey Club, to be honest with you. I care more about the players, which, by the way, Clayton Keller and Dylan Gunther are two very, very, very good young players that I know we're talking to an Oiler audience largely, but they're worth keeping an eye on. Utah's lost 4 straight coming into this, if I'm not mistaken. They've kind of had a weird season. They're very streaky.
They've lost 4 straight, 5-3-2 in their last 10. The Edmonton Oilers have lost 2 straight, though 7-2-1 in their last 10. Trev, before we get to the injury report, thoughts on tonight's game?
Yeah, it'll be a good one. I think Gager nailed it on the head there. I want them to be a lot more physical for tonight, and I think we've seen the last few games it's been there's been almost like no physicality. And so this team, at times they really don't have the most physical players, but they can play physical. They can. They know how to throw up a hit. And we've seen that, whenever they decide to play physical, it's just they haven't been playing that way at all lately. So there's that. I want to see them play physical against a very young, fast team. And as well, we talked about the shots yesterday on the Oil stream, but there was just no. I think there was the last game that the Oilers had, Oilers forwards had 9 shots on net. 9 shots on net. You got to get the puck on the net, okay? It's an inexperienced, it's a young team, as I just said. Quit the pretty plays and just stick to the fundamentals and just get those greasy goals. You can play simple hockey.
The injury report, we need to get to it. It's for Podium Physiotherapy. Knee pain from that nagging ACL injury, hip or shoulder pain slowing you down, back pain after long days at work. They've got you covered, whether it's a sports injury, post-op recovery, or the wear and tear of everyday life. Their expert team is here to get you back on track. Podium Physiotherapy. Unlock the athlete in you. Trev?
For the Edmonton Oilers, the only person they have out through a 4 injury tonight is Evander Kane. No surprise there. Then we go to the Utah Hockey Club. You got John Marino on the IR, Sean Dursey IR as well, Robert Patuzzo IR, and then out Connor Ingram and Maverick Lamoureux. Those are the players who are not fit to play for tonight's game.
That's a cool name, eh? Maverick Lamoureux.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's a good name.
I like it.
That's solid.
Maverick's a solid name.
Yes.
Maverick, just a Maverick.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, I like that one a
You're
lot.
a cool kid. It's like, how do you make fun of Maverick?
Yeah.
You don't.
Exactly.
It's
See my
full
name?
respect. Constant 24/7 respect.
Look at my name.
It's like Max Powers.
That's a good one.
We need to get to, the Oilers again, Utah, 6 o'clock, Oil Stream pregame show. Tom, Hernan, and Cass will get you set. We need to get to the snow report. I've got the music for this one, Trev. So I'm faded up. I'm faded up.
I believe so.
Okay, well, we get to the Marmot Basin snow report, which is brought to you by Marmot Basin. There we go.
There you go.
I can't believe I didn't do this the entire...
Reminds me when Nielsen used to say, phrase, fire up the computer.
Yeah, fire up the
computer.
We didn't have the other music. Why wouldn't we be using the Spengler Cup music?
Stop interrupting me!
I also had to take it from... that's Jade Onright yelling. I had to take it from a TSN cut because I don't have the original audio anymore. Okay. Your Marmot Basin snow report. Temperature this morning, -10. Expecting a high on the mountain today of -7. Received 2 centimeters of new snow overnight. Currently snowing quite hard, which is great news for skiers and snowboarders. Settled snowpack 62 centimeters. So far this season, they've received 140 centimeters of snowfall. Their settled snowpack 62 centimeters. They've received 140 this season. Conditions very good throughout the entire mountain and all lifts operating. Remember, you can ski for half price every day when you get the Marmot Escape card. It's available online and costs only $99. Marmot Basin, there's your Marmot Basin snow report with, I think the drop's coming.
Nice dart, Bob.
Yeah.
There we go. Marmot Basin snow report.
Hit that
right there.
post.
I can't believe I never...
You've never heard
used
that?
That's new.
You've never heard that music?
No, that's new for me.
We didn't get to do it much, but whenever we were on the air and we talk Spengler Cup, I immediately brought that music on, and we talked about Spengler Cup with that music underneath. And when I would do Sportscast, when I got to the Spengler Cup score, I'd quickly fade that music up and do it, and then bring back my other music.
Yeah, he's
pretty skilled.
Not just a broadcaster, but an audio, like a technician, an audio architect,
a DJ,
designer. Yes.
There was very few things I actually really cared about fully. Spengler Cup music was one of those back at the old place.
Yeah, you're like Dead Mouse behind the tables. Obscure reference there.
That's good.
You liked it.
Maddie liked
Trev
that
liked
one.
it.
Maddie
Yeah.
liked it. That's good.
Yes.
I liked it too.
I missed those comments. Let's get to the wrap, which is brought to you by William Huff. If you want your place to look good as ours, visit the team, WilliamHuff.com. Business since 1952, so you know they're doing incredible things, or they're incredible at what they do. We mentioned it yesterday. They're doing the World Juniors. They Elks, Oilers, Rogers Place. They did the Grey Cup. They do
look
a
up,
bunch
look around.
of
It's
things.
a very good chance Bruce and his team over there have provided the wrap or whatever material to make your business look great, and they do.
Let's get in.
Crew outside the,
Well, I'm
the
just
studio here. Wow.
So the
Nasties.
The hangout is like a nasty New Year.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. So more good things coming.
Trying to figure out who, like, or if somebody's here to pick something up or something like that. But we've got a bunch of people here. So it's like it's myself and a bunch of nasties.
Offer some of the treats I brought in.
Yes, and you have these
the
drinks over here that we'll have to get to.
Handcrafted stuff.
William Huff, we'll get to text of the day, what we learned, and what we're watching today. So let's start with what we learned today. What did you learn today? Did you learn anything?
Well, no, I think I did. I think what I've treated the last 2 days is I'm always learning about Trev, from his desire or at least tolerance to be electrocuted, to just stripping away the layers of his personality and his character has been kind of fascinating. Inability to understand automatic withdrawal will baffle me for days to come.
He'll get there.
Yeah, he will eventually. It's not hard.
Trev?
That's funny. I like that. Thank you. That's a good answer. What did I learn today? You know what I was thinking? I don't know if I learned anything today, boys.
You just punched in and you're going to punch out.
Yeah.
I like that. No, I really didn't pick up anything in my travels. The whole thing's a mystery.
I'm sure if I thought long enough.
Oh, don't.
And
Please
usually,
don't.
Okay. Usually they come to me pretty quick, but I'm having a hard time thinking what I learned today. Yeah.
I learned that keys are important to get into a building that are locked. I learned that you need to, and when those keys are inside said locked building, it's not easy to get to said keys, and you can't get into said building. So I learned the value of having keys with you.
One job.
Yeah.
Bring the keys.
I did learn something.
What did you learn?
The brownie bagel mishap.
Oh, yeah. The bagel and the hash brown.
Or hash brown, well, sorry.
Got to be a little clearer, apparently, when I do drive through.
I still want to try it.
No, you don't. I did.
don't like that one.
It's not a taste sensation.
Yeah. I believe it.
I don't. Everyone's different. Everyone has their own
certain
taste
foods
buds.
you can't mix. Those do not mix.
Bagel,
Maddie.
cream cheese, and a hash
brown. That just doesn't make sense. It's gross.
You've never tried it, so you don't know.
It's a mouthful of blah, is what it was.
Atif, Chat GPT as well. I learned that.
Did you not know that before?
He knew how to operate it. I didn't know that.
Wow.
Wasn't that he uses that stuff?
And no slight on
Just
Atif.
calling him out.
Was I wondered whether or not that is now a thing in talk radio or whatever you want to characterize this as, whether that was now a thing.
I just love how you just call him out, not like that he uses it, but that he knows how to use it.
Yeah.
That's what you learned. Redbeard, Scott Laurie.
Oh.
I learned it's great to hear Dave on the radio again. So,
well, thank you. Back at you, my friend. One of the real good guys.
A&W text of the day. See, and I apologize to everyone that I don't have the Atif voice. Because
Eric does an Atif voice.
Yeah, and Dusty tries to do it too. I'm not doing the Atif voice. It's for A&W text of the day. A&W has a deal for you. What's better than one A&W Mama Burger made with perfectly seasoned grass-fed beef patty topped with pickles, slice of onion, ketchup, mustard, and teen sauce, served on a toasted sesame seed bun? It's 2 Mama Burgers for only $9.99. You can enjoy it at participating A&W restaurants in Edmonton, St. Albert, Sherwood Park, and Devon. What a deal. Make it even more convenient. A&W drive-thrus are open 24/7 at most locations. The text of the day goes to Atif. I'd like to confess something. Yes, I used AI on my first phone text of the day. I did send in a second poem. I come to the realization I'm not funny anymore. I have a New Year's resolution, though, which is this. When I go to the local coffee shop and the same old lady that takes about 20 minutes to decide what she wants starts pissing me off, I'm just going to let my anger explode. I've allowed my anger to build up inside me every time I see this lady. I'm just worried I'm going to turn into the Incredible Hulk. I'm going to run her over with my wheelchair and say a few choice words on the way out of the door and just yell, all I want is my damn coffee. Atif.
That's very raw, hey? That's just raw.
We never see Atif unhinged like that. So
congratulations, Atif. You're going A&W. You won your text of the day.
I could have used Atif yesterday when I was ordering my... Use some of that.
The coach, YouTube Trev is the practice teenager young adult that Marty gets to work in before his own kids come along. Gager and Dave is who Maddie goes to for advice.
Oh, yeah.
So it's the line here. So you and Gage influence me. I influence Trev.
I see how it's
influences
passed on. It takes a village.
Marshall. I
Takes a
guess when
village.
Marshall takes over this company
Right.
one day. Dave, this was fun once again.
Very good stuff. Yes.
Dave will be back. We are off with live programming tomorrow here on Edmonton Sports Talk. We'll go up till 6 o'clock tonight with our regular programming, Monday through Friday program. But then we got the Oil Stream pre- and post-game shows tonight with Hernan and Gazzola. Tomorrow on our audio stream, we have best of ESD drafts that will play throughout the day.
Oh.
And then back Monday morning, 6 a.m., Dave Jameson with Lieutenant Eric and YouTube Trev as Eric returns from his holidays. And with that, that's not it for ESD today. We got the Hangout coming up next. It's a nasty New Year lock shot. Myself and Jake Boland Moss, two guys in a goalie. ESD afternoons, the Reed Wilkins Show. That's all still to come here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Your clear choice for Edmonton sports. Thanks to everyone for tuning in to the Nielsen Show with Lieutenant Eric, presented by South Fort Chevrolet. On behalf of the Tube, Dave Jameson, I'm Matt. Thanks for tuning in, and I will talk with you shortly on the Hangout. Don't go anywhere.